There's 400 people already.
She goes by the YouTube handle Masshole Report.
Stay away from me, lady! Stay away from me! Get this lady away from me! Get her away!
Man, that man's whole fucking report, dude, is such a fucking goof.
What's your mission?
My mission right now is to keep you from harassing small children.
Or we can start asking you why you need a bigger bra than Kate does.
It's me, Kate. You know, masshole Kate, day of your existence Kate, your every night obsession Kate.
I targeted you because you're a pedophile. That's usually how that works.
She's just trolling him one way or the other.
I was the constitutional law scholar today, bitches.
It's like going to war with a fucking nuclear power that has lost its fucking mind.
I'm here to be a spectacle, not a role model. So bitches, we're live.
What's going on?
Officer Blue Balls is with us. Excellent. Excellent.
Happy to be here.
Sounds very feminine.
Your balls won't be blue once we get done with you.
Yeah.
We're going to drain those little fuckers.
That won't take much training, buddy. Will not take much training.
Oh, damn. Matt needs the link. God, I'm just not good.
I'll give it to him.
Yeah, give it to him, please. So yeah, it was a wicked fun day at court, you guys.
What? You had court today?
I had court today. It was really fun.
Well, do tell. What happened today? I seen part of Chille's spurging.
Yeah, he's really upset right now.
Yes, Josh broke his heart.
Yeah, Josh, why did you do that?
I don't. I'm just the biggest piece of shit in America. I wish I could have seen the look in his face when he realized I was in court and you said my name. That would have been fucking priceless.
His face dropped.
Yeah. As soon as it was literally like boom. He went white a little bit, and that was just really. It was really sad. So Chille managed to get a Zoom hearing, even though when he tried to get the order, that's Honda B and me. Guys, we'll go over some of this, and then you know what we're gonna do is we're gonna open up the panel and let it just be a fucking shit show because it's Friday night and I enjoy those a lot. And I'm here really for my own enjoyment because I am a narcissistic bitch. But anyway, so he got a Zoom hearing despite when he tried to get this order ex parte, which means without notice to the other party. The judge told him, like, you have to be here in person. We do this in person. Somehow he managed to weasel around that. So he came in on Zoom. I was in the courtroom. Matt's Honda B&B was there. He came out just to hang out. And
hi.
Yeah, Josh Abrams of Accountability for All, my number one arch nemesis in life, was there spectating as well.
Surprised you made it. You drove and you showed up late, and this guy had a friggin' airplane and he was able to make it on time.
Yeah, he flew from a different country and then drove from another state.
Yeah, I don't even want to talk about the diversions from those storms, but I don't care. It was so completely worth it to be there for Kate to see this.
Well, she didn't white knuckle it this time.
No, but I did.
Yes. Had she white knuckled it, it'd have been much better.
He argued about that a lot in court, about
He
the white
did.
knuckle comment.
Yes, he did. Yeah, it wasn't definitely a good look for him. I mean, there's some great one-liners, and I know Kate's requested the FTR for that. That should begin in about 4 to 5 days. Now she's talking. I think it takes 5 days. Josh, you might know. Is it 5 days to get the audio?
Yeah, I mean, it should take less than that. I mean, especially since they don't like him at all. I assume it would come. I mean, the court officers were very clear that they were not happy with us, with Chille.
Oh.
Yeah, they didn't like Chille. They didn't care for him. I to be fair, like how officers of the court feel about you, in my experience, does not really change the turnaround time. What changes the turnaround time is how much information you have on the hearing. So seeing as I was a party to the hearing, I know what time it started. I know what time it ended. which was like all fucking day. And I know what courtroom, I mean, the names of the parties, like it should be probably a couple days because I have all the information.
Yeah, once we have that, there's some just epic one-liners like "I don't like touching women; they're disgusting." It's just some
Pleasure
great
from
stuff.
touching women.
Yeah, I get no pleasure from touching women.
Your Honor, she called me short.
Sorry, my daughter
Okay.
is freaking distracting me here. Because I gotta do this stream and then pick up a kid to spend the night, which is looking fun. So yeah, like it was an interesting hearing. I obviously will be getting the audio. We have the audio from the ex parte hearing as well. Not through the FTR just yet. I may wait till I get it just because, technically that's the legal way to do things. And I am a cop sucker and all, but he did actually record the prior hearing against the court's request, because you really can't do that, and then disseminated it to multiple people who then gave it over to me. So yeah, I have that as well, and that was an interesting little hearing there. But this one was it took all day. We were there, I think we showed up at what, like 9:30, right? And it didn't get heard until about 11, and it didn't end until 3 o'clock. So yeah, pretty much 11 to 3 with a little bit of a recess there. We were stuck in court. It was probably one of the longest hearings that I've ever dealt with.
But in the end, it was so worth it because
it was fucking hilarious. So he gets in, and of course he starts with his whole narrative, the false narrative. This woman is stalking me. He's very concerned now with the Discord server. They're tracking me through the Discord server. He spent a lot of time focused on the fact that our Discord server is named the Masshole Troll Mafia Hit Squad. He thought that to be very, very threatening. He told the court that we had created the Discord server with the sole intent to track him, despite the fact that the Discord server has been in existence for, I believe, 3 years now, and we've only known about Chille for a couple of months. He really brought up the fact that we have a room called Chille Watch. At this point, the cat's out of the bag too, Chille. So, like, you dumb fuck, it's public. There's 1,600 people in there. Like, if you can see a room and it's public, we've put that out there, not only knowing that you'll probably see it, but fucking banking on it. So, like, the fact that this guy has been so thoroughly trolled for so long now, and this is like low level trolling that we've been doing. We haven't even really stepped up to the game to, like,
No.
Cyrax levels or Chris Chan levels, or even really Orga levels here. Like, he has no idea, how far that legal line extends. I do, because I have a lot of experience in this. Right?
And speaking of Orga, we'll get to that in a moment.
Yeah, don't mention his name. Don't mention his name.
Yeah,
I
don't
hope
say it.
if we mention it 3 times, I hope he kind of appears like Bloody Mary. That would be phenomenal. Yeah, Joe Orga also made a cameo in today's events, which was great. It was a real reunion for me. It was actually quite heartwarming. I had my buddy here, AFA, with me. I had Orga there. I think that News Now Houston was also waiting on the line. So, Chille was there. It was just like a lot of people that really like me and care about me. And I felt really loved and supported, warm and safe. So,
I was really praying for Cyrax. I don't know about you guys, but that would have been awesome.
Listen, don't even bring that up. I don't want to put that in Chille's head. If Cyrax and Chille get together, it's going to be fucking devastating for me. Like, let's not even go there.
The funniest part was when he has this friggin' phone and he's got all the different people on the thing, and he accidentally doxes the fact that he's live streaming the video to a signal chat, and then Kate just comes out of nowhere and she's like, I'm paraphrasing, but what is scary, him threatening physical harm on me and riding around with illegal unregistered guns, and he goes, we're not here to talk about that.
Yeah, he's like,
oh, he did not want to talk about that.
I'm not on trial here. So he goes into his whole diatribe and says that and of course he repeats the lie that I ran down to the parade and assaulted him. And then the judge hears from me, and I explained to him, look, like, this is the focus of our channel here. We do deep dives on people. I said, I framed it as 1A, which was probably a little bit incomplete for the judge, because we look at all different kinds of people now. But I said, pretty much we look at people, deep dive, get as much information as we can, put it out there. You can make your determination about whether or not you want to follow their rhetoric past that point, right? And so I explained this to him, and I explained to him essentially that Chille keeps claiming that we're tracking him, but no one has ever, like, stereotypically, You know what I mean? We have not put any clandestine, tracking devices on his vehicles. We're not doing anything illegal here. He literally is broadcasting his location. And I explained this in court, open court, right in front of Chille several times. And it just never seems to register. Whether he just willfully doesn't want it to register or he's just that fucking stupid, I'm not sure. But he just never seems to register. And he continues to say they're tracking me. He provides screenshots of the Discord, which show other people in my Discord discussing where he is per the live streams. It's never me. He asserts that I have put his docs, like his address and his phone number, out on my Discord server, which is a lie. He can never produce that because I just fucking didn't do it. But he continues to insist this and kind of glosses over the fact that he can't produce it. He claims that I've called every single one of his friends, family members, and former coworkers and investors, including his mother. The judge then goes, "Oh, she called your mother?" And he goes, "Yep, she called my mother." And he goes, "Well, what was the the contents of the conversation with your mother?" And he literally, like, his mouth literally goes like that, and he just stares blankly for a minute and then goes, well, she's had a stroke.
But wait, let's not forget his mother, who allegedly just had a stroke. He also claimed to have on the line, standing by, ready to testify to the fact that you called her, which you never did.
Right. Never did.
I was going to say, as for the record, you never did call his mother, correct?
No, I've never called his mother. Would have no reason to call his mother, his, like, any of that. They have no information for me, essentially. Like, right. I don't call people's families. They're uninvolved. The only time that I think I would even consider calling someone's family is if I pulled a record and there was like, this guy strangled his fucking grandmother or something. Then I might, which even that I probably wouldn't do, because I don't generally like to contact victims of crimes. If they find us and contact us, fine, but I usually don't initiate contact. But there's just no reason for me to call his mother. It never happened. I didn't call his sister. I don't believe that he actually has any friends, so I certainly didn't call any of those. I did call some of his former investors just to get an idea about, sort of what's going on with these sham businesses. And I got the information, that I wanted out of that. So, he was upset about that. He also claimed that I have called him 500 times. He cannot produce my phone number in any of these because I fucking haven't.
At the call log, it looked like he saved every single number as Kate Peter Masshole, and he thought the judge was like, the judge was like, "How do you know it's her?" And he was like, "Trust me, bro."
Wait, but we know it was her because he produced a call log. Oh, wait, that's right. All it said was Kate Peter didn't have any phone numbers on it.
Right. Yeah. So, and I offered many times. I was like, I'll give the court my phone number right now. Like, I can show you what my phone number is. You won't find it on there, but they didn't even go that far, because he then backpedaled later on and said, no, she's directing people to call me. And I had to explain to the court, like, look, this guy has announced his phone number on a live stream with hundreds of people watching numerous times. It's been 3 now as of last night.
But he whispered it.
What?
He whispered it.
Yeah, but you could still hear it last night.
I'm just saying, he whispered his number. It wasn't for dissemination.
And there were 2 times before that he literally, announced his phone number with hundreds of people watching. So yeah, I mean, I'm like, I'm not the only channel that talks about him. There's like 5 offhand that I can talk, that I can point to, such as like James Freeman has talked about him. Clashed with Bow has streamed about him. Blue Bacon has done a lot on him. Brainy Beaver has done a lot on him. Law Talk with Mike has done a lot on him. There's a lot of people here, and most of these streams are not casting him in a favorable light. And there's people that have just stumbled upon him, and because he's a fucking clown, they treat him like one. End of story. So I'm like, given that, like, I cannot control when he literally announces his number online, how many people call him. Like, I even kind of was a little not unprofessional, but I guess out of line. And I told the judge, I'm like, if Mr. DeCastro does not want to get hundreds of troll phone calls, then it would probably behoove him not to announce his fucking phone number on a live stream. That would be my advice to him. Like, that's what I would do, honestly. If you don't want those calls, maybe like don't put that information out there. He claimed that we followed him or had someone follow him. That was kind of unclear, when he was in Youngstown, Ohio, and that people were taking pictures of his Airbnb, and points to this screenshot of somebody putting pictures of the Airbnb. I had to point out to him that that's not somebody taking pictures of the home. That's an actual public.
Oh no, he claimed on the record that he was being tailed and followed to the Airbnb, physically tailed and followed, and watched the person in his rearview mirror, which is hilarious because it never happened.
Well, I love the fact that he admitted he took his car to the shop and had someone look underneath for tracking devices.
Yeah, somebody said that Irish guy. I forgot Irish Demon talks about him too. Like he is in a really interesting position right now, where he seems just kind of universally reviled across all sides of the aisle, so to speak, here with ideology. So, like, yeah, I mean, you're gonna get trolled, bro. Like that's like if you come off as a completely delusional, malicious, dishonest, hypocritical, narcissistic douche whistle, then like, welcome to the internet, dude. You're gonna have a bad time. I don't know what to tell you. Like, you're going to have a bad time.
And Chille, hey, if you don't want people to know where you are, don't live stream in public with street signs, and don't get hung up on, oh, but they said I crossed into Maryland. Yeah, because you said on the live stream, yes, the great state of Maryland. Like, you announced it, you genius.
It doesn't even matter what you say, Chille, honestly. Like, the fact of the matter is, like, as long as you're actually live streaming or uploading videos in close proximity to, you know, recording them, like, people are going to fucking figure out where you are. You're not smart enough to obscure that. Not many people are. You know, this is like you publicly put this information out there. There's a lot of amateur sleuths here. We call it adult hide and seek around the masshole parts. And we'll play this with each other sometimes where, you know, you are somewhere at an undisclosed location and you're walking around on like an Instagram live feed, you know, so a couple of us jump in the car and we're going to figure out where you are and see if we can make it to you. It's just how we hone our skills. We found Billy Tibbetts in a completely different state. Right?
Yeah, that went well.
Just from his live streams, just so we could drop off a gift to him, bro. Like, that's just like, you know, like, and you know, eventually the ruling came out on this and we'll get to that, but you know, that was kind of the first part of the hearing. Chille then drops I think he said it was 47 pages of evidence in a PDF. I only got 10, so I'm not sure where the other 37 went.
It was 47 pages of legal precedent, and then the rest was evidence. What you got was the evidence. But he said 47 pages of legal precedent, all of which I think the judge saved for toilet paper later tonight.
Yeah.
The legal law scholar was citing case precedents that every single one dealt with someone that was charged first. So it didn't even apply to Kate. But I mean, this guy's like, you know, it's not hard to find him. Like, maybe just like a point of advice. Don't try and blackmail someone, steal from them, and then tell them your location. It's probably not the best way to keep a secret.
Right, right.
No, Josh, you brought this up on your stream today, and I have to admit, for the first time, I think in 2 years, I actually watched one of your whole streams about the blackmail thing. Do you want to go into that at all?
Yeah, I'll answer any question. I don't want to derail Kate on course of her ruling of trolling, but yeah, I don't mind going into it.
Yeah, I mean, so at this point in the hearing, he's heard, you know, Chille's diatribe. I've responded and essentially said that my activities and speech are protected by the First Amendment. We're not tracking him in the sense that he's trying to relay that, you know, he's broadcasting. It's all public information. I point out that through his entire diatribe, he was very concerned with the judge telling me that I can't make videos about him anymore. You know, that's what he kept repeating. She's made 26 videos about me. Look at all these pictures of me. She's like, look at her thumbnails. She takes pictures of me and she makes me look stupid. She makes me look like I'm crying, or she puts lizard eyes on me, which
he was very concerned about lizard eyes. Very concerned.
I've never put lizard eyes on him, but trust and believe that when we're done with this stream and I make a thumbnail for the replay, like, I'm putting fucking lizard eyes on Chille DeCastro, 110% now. You asked for it.
He had wanted the judge to make a ruling. Like, the judge was like, it's just a recess. I have to go over all the bullshit that you gave to me. And then Chille was like, oh, no, well, while we're on recess, you need to make sure that Kate can't post any videos about me or talk about me. As soon as we got outside, he was messaging me and then going live himself. Like, the fucking judge.
Yeah, it was ridiculous because the judge is like, I'm not making any rulings right now. It's just a recess. And he was like, no, but you have to. And the judge was like, I'm not making a ruling right now. It's just a recess. He was like so concerned that he was concerned that I was going to go live about his court appearances because they look fucking dumb. And just like I said about the other audio with the ex parte, which honestly, I just might throw up after the live tonight. Fuck it. You guys can listen to yourself. It might be a little bit low quality, reality because it's Chille's shitty fucking illegal recording. But you know, he's disseminated enough at this point; it doesn't really fucking matter. But yeah, like you know, he was concerned about this, you know, the story getting out, so he really wanted the judge to here. He really wanted the judge to say that I couldn't make any videos and talk about this. And the judge was like, no. So at this point, we take a recess. And now we'll take a recess from the story. And Josh can fucking talk about his, you know, his blackmail incident with Chille.
Well, hang on one second. Hang on one second. Can't leave out from the first half that Chille demanded in the first half of the hearing the $6,000 dollars that you've not at all made from YouTube, and he wanted it now, immediately.
Yeah, that was his main thing that he was like demanding from the judge. I forgot about that right before.
It's my money and I need it now.
Yeah,
cocaine and Adderall.
I want all of the relief. I want you to tell her that she can't contact me. I want you to tell her that she can't talk about me or make videos about me. And I estimate that she's made $6,000 off of my name, and I want it all right now. And that reminds me, guys, just in Chille's honor, I'm gonna drop my PayPal tonight. All right, I'm gonna fucking drop my PayPal for me, for the team, for everybody. We have no need for this, so we're not raising money for anything. But if you want to piss off Chille, I'll read out your fucking PayPals. And I know we've been playing the Cash App game where we pretend that it's that it's actually fucking you know, this Cash App that doesn't exist, because he said that he was going to be tracking our Cash App that doesn't exist. But this time, fuck it. Let me
just call it the troll toll.
Let's do it. Yeah, let's make a fucking troll toll. I'm in a good mood tonight, and you know, usually I wouldn't fucking do this shit, but honestly, I forgot about that till somebody said that. But yeah, the fact that he really thinks that we made fucking $6,000 off of him, like, he's a fucking idiot. But I'm willing to get even $50 closer tonight. That would be really fun for me.
And the tracker thing, I literally turned in the gallery and looked at Josh and was like, I can't believe he actually bought that.
Oh,
like,
I can.
We know you're listening. We know you're watching. We know your moles are all over the place. Welcome to the Troll Show, Chille. You picked the wrong group.
Did you remember when he said to the judge right off rip, he's like, well, you know, I've never spoke to this woman. I've never met this woman. And we both looked at each other like, what?
Yeah, we both simultaneously, our heads spun around looking face to face like, did he honestly just say that? Like, if he had committed any more freaking perjury, like, the room would have been filled with bullshit end to end. Like, it was so ridiculous. He was saying so many things that he knew to be false.
Matt, there was one court officer dedicated to you to keep you from jumping through the screen and strangling him.
Maybe. But to be fair,
remember, you can only keep the first 5,000, and then the rest you have to split with everyone.
Yeah, you need that $1,000 for public records.
And for the record, Kate was not streaming this. We were actually, a lot of us were watching it on Zoom. So it was broadcast on Zoom, and you could literally watch Chille's face get redder and redder and redder. And by the end of the day, he was just fucking roid raging out of his ears.
He drastically got sweaty.
Lest we not forget too, and individuals watching on Zoom did not have the pleasure of seeing this. Kate brought up the fact that not only had he previously illegally, or at least against the court procedural rules, recorded the initial hearing, but all the wonderful things that he had called the bailiffs. It just so happened that both bailiffs he went after were in the courtroom, and both of them literally put their hands up, standing in front of the judge in the back of the room, put their hand up and pointed at themselves.
Yeah, because in the audio that we're just going to throw up anyway, he gets upset with one of the COs and calls him a fucking scumbag. Like, it's on the record. It's there. Unfucking believable.
I wonder how you got that audio and whatever real piece of shit found out the Zoom link and sent it to you. That person's a real fucking scumbucket.
Oh, what
I think that person is probably more in transparency than Chille is.
Absolutely. And like, as Josh brought up a minute ago, like I said, it was hilarious at the end of the first session that Chille was basically demanding a 2-hour restraining order against Kate so she couldn't broadcast anything. And because we were all dying to talk to Kate for one, because she did a great job. But I think it's important of what Josh has to say about what Chille actually did to him. And it's no secret. I've said some vile shit about Josh throughout the years. I don't like Josh. It's no secret. But Josh is funny. He makes me laugh. But I said the shit that Chille was pulling with Josh behind the scenes that we didn't learn about till today. What a cap and transparency that fucking Chille DeCastro is.
Yeah, I have vehement disagreement. And I said this to Josh today, so this is not a shock. I have vehement disagreements with a lot of his positions and opinions. But Josh is a bright, articulate, intelligent, capable, very, very well spoken. Shut the hell up, Kate. Josh is a good dude. He doesn't deserve to be put through the shit Chille put him through.
Nobody does. That's the fucking thing.
Not at all.
No, but
literally nobody does.
So go ahead, Josh.
He's just a fucking piece of shit. I mean, right? Like, I don't fuck anyone over until, like, I don't not deal with someone until, like, they fuck me over. That's my general rule of thumb. So, like, I don't care what other people say. I will just let you fuck me over first. And you guys didn't find out about this until today, but when this first went down right after the parade, I told everybody. I sent the full copy of the video to Kate, a copy of all the text messages. I sent it to Freeman, Lackluster, a couple other people behind the scenes, because afterwards he was immediately like, oh, all that. I had released the video, right? And then I came out of where I was at. I was grabbing a coffee, and he's like, oh, you should take the video down. I was like, no, the video's up. And that was just a sneak peek, like the first 6 minutes. Then I was going to release the next one the next day. And he was like, oh, it'd be a shame if your parole officer found out about all the drugs you were doing on Mass Ave. I was like, I didn't do any drugs on Mass Ave. He's like, well, by the time she would find out about that, and he literally had the statute for like parole conditions like pulled up. He was like, you'd have to sit in jail for 15 to 90 days. So shortly after this happens, I'm now looking at my bank statement, and I don't make the money people think I make. And I notice that there's like $130 missing. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on? I paid for his first 2 nights with my card, which I agreed to do, and I put the card on file. And I call the hotel, and I'm like, you just charged me for a 3rd night. They're like, no, the person staying there said to put it on your card. And then Chille's there. And he's like, no, I didn't. I presented them my card. They must have made a mistake. And the woman went to explain to me that when you have a physical card versus using a card that has already been in their system, it's a totally different screen. That couldn't happen. And then she further doubled down by saying, and we asked him, like, everything's audio visual recorded, where he wanted the money to go. And he said that the money that was already on file. So then the money goes missing. And then of course I have to start making phone calls on my end, because I'm thinking that this guy's just going to go, talk shit and make up a bunch of lies. Turns out the parole person and a probation person had spoken to the Stoneham police, and everything had got, pretty much squared away, that I didn't do anything wrong. And this guy was a piece of shit. But he continued, like, at that point, it was weird. Like, he would have these moments of true narcissism where he would message me and be like, oh, I saw the trolls talking shit. Like, don't let them divide us. Let's not let them. I was like, that's not what divided us, Chille. Trolls is not what divided us. You claim to hate police. You're telling 6-year-old children to never call the cops because they'll rape you. And then after you beat up a woman, you run to the cops, the same ones that you were just deploring, to try and get assistance on my trying to like throw me in fucking prison. You're a total fucking piece of shit. And then he shows up to my house. Once I was fine, I let him in, and I was trying to talk to him about everything and see if things could get cleared up. And then afterwards he comes back. I go out to smoke a cigarette, and his van is backed into the beginning of my driveway. He's got a fucking extension cord going out of his sunroof, and it's literally parked into my garage. I could not believe what I was seeing, to the point where I started sending pictures to people, like, look at what's going on. I sent one to Kate and a bunch of other people. And at the end of that live stream, you can literally see the lights flashing, because I was flashing the lights. And finally I went up to him and told him to beat it. He was like, oh, can I just stay for a few more minutes to use your Wi-Fi? I told him absolutely not. So that's really what's happened with him. But it's not just like that. I mean, he's literally preying on everybody. Like, I was in a fundraising signal chat with him, and I kept all the screenshots, because I don't know why. He's a pseudo intellectual. Like, he wants everyone to think that he's as smart as he thinks he is. So if he thinks he's blackmailing you, he doesn't think that you're ever going to have the balls to speak up against him. So he's fine, like, letting you see information because he thinks it's never going to get to light. So he's writing in this chat that he wants to take Sarah, Great Lakes Audits, and I think the other girl's name is Christy. And he's like, here's what we're going to do. I'm going to bring you up on panel tonight. We're going to feature all your different issues, and we're going to give the chat your cash apps. So that way we can get money to you guys for your issues. So it seems like it's starting off decently. And this is the day after the incident with Kate in the parade. So I'm thinking that he's trying to make himself look good by making people a little bit of money. Then the asshole writes in the chat, and I'm just paraphrasing. I sent Kate copies of it. He's like, we're going to try and reach $5,000. I don't know if we're going to be able to get that far, but once all the money is sent in, everyone can send it to me. And then I'll send it to the different places, like $1,000 for records requests and $4,000 for his personal fund. And no one in that chat was smart enough to be like, because they all believed in him. So they weren't smart enough to be like, wait, so you're helping me. Why am I sending you the money that I get? If it's for somebody else, why wouldn't we just do a fundraiser to them? And after this happened, one of the people on that panel reached out to me and they were like, yeah, I'm in the same boat. I'm trying to move really cautiously right now because this person is supposed to be helping me with my case. And I'm kind of in a similar blackmail position. And I'm willing to talk about it. I just want to move cautiously. And I told Kate about it, but this isn't a random thing. After he left me, he went to another place, like in Worcester, and he kicked a guy out of his own house. Like, he's like, I can't work with you in the house. I need my privacy. So this guy offers his home to Chille. Chille then in turn kicks this guy out and sends him to a motel room. The guy winds up getting pissed that he's sleeping in a motel room when he has a perfectly good home. He shows up at 6:15 in the morning, and from what I understand, allegedly he found different pieces of paraphernalia and had an absolute fucking meltdown and kicked Chille out, which he then goes to another place, gets a large amount of money from some woman to invest in an app that has never taken place. I mean, I was literally in the car with him while he was talking to his cousin about this transparency app, and he's telling his cousin it doesn't need to be an actual app, just make it look good enough so that way if an investor wants to invest, we can. And he gets some poor grandmother who lost her grandson during a police altercation and was trying to break up a fight. He wound up getting killed, and he got her for a lot of money. And he's telling people he's traveling the country to help you out, but he's got a ticket to fucking Colombia. He's going to visit his brother. He's got a one-way ticket, and he's supposed to be out of here in 3 weeks. So he's just getting as much funds as he can until he leaves. And I was in kind of a shitty position because I wanted to figure out my situation before I did anything. But the day of the parade, that night, the unlisted video of the totally unedited video, it had already been sent to everyone, Kate and everyone else. I was just waiting to kind of feel out the situation before I released it. And when he was talking shit in court today, he was like, oh, well, and Kate's endearing herself. That's why one of my colleagues is here today. I was like, fuck it. I was going to drop it tomorrow. I'll release it right now.
So that brings us to part 2 of this afternoon for Kate.
Yep. So, in this meandering story. So we come back from recess. And at this point, I have actually pulled clips that spoiler alert, I never even had to use, of Chille talking about coming to Massachusetts, to the East Coast to serve me, stating that he has my address and I'm real lucky that he's not like his father or I'd be physically injured. Clips of him making veiled threats to shoot me. Clips of him, telling people that he's, coming to my house. I'm going to get served this weekend. I'll get a lawsuit within the week. After he's vehemently told the judge that he's never said my name in public before, that he never said he was coming to serve me, that he was never coming to my house. So we get back and the judge goes over the evidence and he starts asking Chille some clarifying questions. And at this point, you can kind of tell that, that it's going downhill for Chille, because he goes, all right, just to clarify here, when you're talking about this tracking language, is it Miss Peter, putting this in the Discord? And he's like, no, it's other people, but she's telling him to. And I'm like, no, you show me where I'm telling people to. No, I'm not. There's 1,600 people again in that Discord server. Hopefully more after tonight. Come on down, guys. We have fun. But I can't control what people do in there. And I'm very, very adamant in my YouTube chat, in my comment section, in my Discord. I do not want to restrict people's speech as best I can avoid it, given just basic lines of decency and terms of service for the platforms that I'm using. So we have some rules, but for the most part, like, you can say whatever you want. And, some pictures of a public Airbnb listing after he's broadcast where he is essentially. to me is like it's an Airbnb listing. I'm not gonna shut that down. Like, it was a really fun game while it lasted. Sleuthing out where the fuck it was, like, where in the world is Chille San Diego? Which, hold on to that idea, guys. Hold on to that idea. Yeah, I mean, and then he starts asking him, essentially like, well, you're claiming that she's called you all these times. How do you know the number is hers? And he lies and says that, been verified. So the judge goes, and I retort and say, listen, like, if anyone should be afraid, I guess it would be me. He's made numerous threats against my physical safety. He's told me that he was going to, he asked for permission to pepper spray me. He told me he was going to knock me unconscious, knock me on the ground. He's made, and I was very clear with the judge. I said they weren't explicit threats. They were implicit threats, but he's made implicit threats that he wants to shoot me. He's asked the Attleboro police permission to come to my house and handle things his way, and he's riding around Massachusetts with an illegal, unregistered firearm that he doesn't have a license for, and claiming to have my address. And, I pointed it out, just be like, look, this is, if anybody has a case here, I suppose it would be me, but I'm not going to waste the court's time with this internet bullshit. I'm past that point in my life. It's just not worth it. This is not a court issue. So the judge, has to calm Chille down, who's still insisting that he wants this $6,000 that he believes that I've raised, and I can never make another video again. And he starts getting mouthy with the judge and going, well, what if I do this to you? At one point, I don't remember what it was I said. It wasn't a lie, whatever it was, but he goes, that's perjury. And he insists that the DA, that the judge needs to contact the DA immediately and have me charged with perjury. Like, the courts are going to stop everything over that fucking bullshit. Just real bootlicker status bullshit going on there. And so the judge goes, all right, I'm not going to have a written decision, so I'm going to put it on the record now. Please let me, read this off, right? And at that point, I know we're clear. If there's no written decision, it means you're not writing an order. And I kind of figured that's where it was going anyway. And you can see Chille. Oh, no, guys, back up. Sorry. So Chille is on the second half of this before the judge reads his statement. Chille has his second phone in his hand. There's somebody on the phone, and he's going, I have a witness here. She stalked him. She's done the exact same thing. I've got a witness here, and he wants to talk. And the judge is kind of like, oh, is he in the Zoom? And he goes, no, he's on the phone with me right now. And he's done this and I said, objection, relevancy. And the judge goes, okay, yeah, the only thing that we're dealing with here is the allegation that, Miss Peter is harassing Mr. DeCastro, and the issue of whether or not to issue an order against her on behalf of Mr. Castro. So he shuts that down, essentially sustains my objection. Now he's making notes and he's reading through, and you can hear who's Joe Orga on the line, right? Yelling.
Who gives a fake name to the court.
Right. But he's yelling on Chille's phone, and Chille's got his mic on as the judge is just trying to write some notes and read through and get his decision ready. And he's going, she stalked me for a year. She stalked me to a bar, which, side note, guys, never happened. What actually happened was, after he harassed a woman that he believed was me in public, filming her around a police station, making nasty comments about her, and then uploading a video where he superimposed someone pissing all over her. I said, I'm going to get you back for this one day. And I catfished him at one point, asked him to meet me at a bar, and then proceeded to calmly sit there and drink, I believe it was a cider, and ask him if I could give him some tips on meeting women. That's what happened, but he's screaming, and the judge is like, who's yelling? And he's like, it's my witness, and nobody wants to talk to you, Orga. So he then says, well, I have 3 other witnesses in queue, and I know one of them was News Now Houston. I don't know who was the other one. Does anyone know?
I believe it was Cyrax. I believe that was him.
There's reason to believe it was.
Cyrax.
There's reason to believe it was.
Damning to me. So again, I really hope that Cyrax and Chille are not together, because that would really end Masshole Report forever.
They'll bring it down. They'll bring us down.
Well, so I don't want to show our hand though.
Yeah, absolutely.
Anyway, focus, Asia. So and then he starts talking about, well, this is how she makes her livelihood. She harasses and disparages people, and she was a part of this website called Turtle Boy Sports. And I hit him again. I was like, objection, relevancy. And the judge goes, yeah, this is not the issue that we're talking about, and I'm just trying to take my notes. So against the constitutional law scholar, little old me with absolutely no law experience or knowledge whatsoever, I mean, so far removed from being a legal, I wouldn't even consider myself particularly knowledgeable. I have to do a lot of research to even be able to speak on specific things. I got 2 sustained objections on him, and he meandered all over the place like an idiot. So at this point, now the judge is rendering his decision, and he says, I'm just going to read it out. So he starts off by saying, the conduct and speech in question here could very well be protected under the First Amendment. And you can see Chille's face just start to the veins are going, and he's mad. And he starts.
Kate, if I could, I just want to preface this by saying, to set the scene for the audience, he was literally going line by line by line, literally detail by detail, crucifying him. So you have to imagine that this is literally happening one accusation at a time. So just set that in your mind as Kate reads and tells you all about it.
And I'd like to piggyback off that preface and say that I understand that we probably have some Delete Laws fans in here. I was on AFA's stream earlier where he details his experiences with Chille, and I would really suggest watching that too. I've got some people from Team Skeptic in here. A mismatch of lots of different people in here. So I understand that not all of you like me, and that's okay. I don't really like me either. But take aside where we may or may not differ on our opinions with the police or anything else, and understand that the one thing that we should all have in common here, the one thing that we all speak about, is our love of the First Amendment, freedom of speech, right? And
Amen.
So the decision that the judge renders today, although very upsetting for fascist, statist, authoritarian, bully Chille, was a great win yet again for the freedom of speech, because the judge upheld that even though my speech is obnoxious, it's dumb, it grates on people, you may not agree with it, my speech is protected by the law, right? Just like yours is, just like anyone's is. As long as you don't step over that line, your speech is protected. And that was upheld today. And that's a huge fucking win for everyone. Anytime that you go in to any case where there is a question of speech and you have not done something, no fighting words, no true credible threats here, no actual stalking and harassment occurs where you're actually putting people in fear of their lives. As long as you're staying on the right side of the law and your speech is upheld, that's a win for everyone, because I appreciate that the law protects my speech. And no matter what the fuck you're saying out there, even if I don't agree with it, I appreciate that the law, protects your speech as well, which is why you can come in here and call me a fat slut with a Jew nose. And it's
Amen.
True. Yeah, right. But yeah, so he does start going line by line on Chille's accusations, and he upheld. He says, Chille alleges. We're gonna have to go through the audio because I don't remember exactly everything that he went through. But essentially, Chille alleges that this Discord server, they're tracking them. The court finds that he is broadcasting his location is clearly obvious, and that although it may be a little bit alarming, and I can understand why, they're not covertly placing any tracking devices on him. They're not showing up. They're not making any true threats. There's no fighting words. That is not harassment, right? And now he's getting redder in his eyes, and now he's muted himself and he's yelling on the phone. You can tell, and he's just getting upset. So then they go to the next one. They say, Mr. DeCastro claims that Miss Peter has called him over 500 times or instructed her followers to do so. The court finds that there is no evidence to suggest that she is the one making these calls, nor is there any evidence that she has directed her followers to do so. And he gets even madder at that. And guys, just a reminder, I am a spectacle, not a role model. Just because I'm fucking with these people, I know where the line is. I know that you're not dumb, but not everybody does. Just sit back and watch. Don't fucking harass people. We don't need the headache, nor do you. He goes on to state, Mr. DeCastro calls, this is my favorite one, guys. So the court ruled that Chille is being trolled. No word of lie. When you hear this,
it was amazing.
Word for word, not a joke.
Yeah, they actually ruled that, the courts, that he was being trolled. So he goes, Mr. DeCastro describes these these accounts as troll accounts. The court finds that these actions are consistent with online trolling. And I'm paraphrasing, so we'll have to get the audio. But, and he's even madder at this point. And now, as he's reading through and essentially finds every single time that there are no true threats, that this is protected speech and that this is not harassment, he's getting madder and madder. And finally, this dude fucking explodes. And
Activate,
he's like,
activate petulant child mode.
yep. So he goes, this is a this is a kangaroo court. Is the thing. You like what happened? He actually kind of semi-threatens the judge, as I recall, and goes, "What happens when I do this sort of stuff to you?" It's
Yeah.
like, people do this to judges all the time. Just don't, unfortunately, don't pull a Brant and you're probably Gucci, my friend. And then he's like, this court is a joke. You're just making up the laws. I know the law. I gave you the precedent. You're just making things up as you go along. You're doing this because you don't like me. And the judge was like, this has nothing to do whether I like or don't like you.
It's because she's a cop sucker.
Yeah, he said that it's because I'm a cop sucker, and the judge is like, I'm not going by whether I like you or don't like you. I don't know you. I'm going by the law, which is what Chille is supposed to stand for here, right? Like that is, if he really believes in the rule of law, whatever the fuck that means when he says it, then you want the law to be unemotional, impartial. The law is not going to give you a emotional reaction and reflective, well, what if this was me? Because the law doesn't have feelings. The law doesn't care about your feelings. The law cares about the law, right? As is established. And that is what the judge upheld. And Chille had a fit. So, he's screaming, and the clerk actually had to walk around and cut off the entire Zoom call so that he would shut the fuck up. Literally just killed the entire thing.
Well, but the best part is the Zoom call ended for the public before she finally kicked him. So what anybody who was watching on Zoom saw when it ended, that wasn't the end of it. He was still going. So buckle up, kids, and wait for the court audio because you're in for a good
This is
ride.
a joke.
You're a
joke,
did
Your
not
Honor.
hear all of it.
This is a joke.
Yep. This court is a joke.
It just shows who he really is, though, because he was nice as pie and referred to the judge as Your Honor. He was so nice, but the moment that the ruling didn't go his way, he had a fucking ultimate tantrum. It was absolutely hysterical. And not for nothing, he does call himself a constitutional law scholar. And Kate, when you showed up and you made a comment, you're like, well, Abrams knows the law better than you. And he took offense to that. He was like, well, no, I am the constitutional law scholar. It took me, Kate, and Matt about 5 minutes to go outside, check up what the case law actually refers to, and then talk about doing some simple fucking objections. And Chille couldn't overcome like Kate going in there and just like saying simple things.
Yeah,
Well,
he went full kindergarten constitutionalist when he didn't get his way. Like it was literally. I have 3 kids. They have tantrums like that. Like seriously, it was that bad.
Well, the judge also quoted case law, what he was making his ruling on. Unfortunately, I didn't get the chance to write it down until we have a playback of what the audio was. I can't look it up. But the judge, stated what case law he was making his ruling on. So, I mean, again, Chille always, preaches case law. Well, you're giving case law, dumbass. You just didn't like the laws that protect us as well.
Yeah, it was a Massachusetts appellate case that His Honor cited. And, it's not like Chille didn't get a fair chance with this case law. The judge acknowledged that he did examine the case law that Chille cited. It's just that, unfortunately for Chille, he's a moron who has no idea what the fuck he's talking about.
Well, I said that before we went out. Like every single case he cited, at least 3 of the 4 that I knew,
criminal
only counted if there were charges that were before the case. So like if Kate had been charged and then he brought up that case law, that's one thing. But that's pretty like normal precedent case law where she hasn't been charged with a crime. So none of it matters. But I don't know how he didn't know that, being a constitutional cop caller.
Well, Wikipedia doesn't list those details, and he's openly admitted that's one of his first sources.
Well,
I do see that somebody pointed out too. Sorry, I've been terrible about the chat, and I'll do super chats at the end. I'll probably call out the PayPal in a minute just because it really pisses him off. And I know he's watching, but somebody said, yeah, Masshole, he says that he's going to appeal. He did indicate that during court too. I mean, the decision was pretty tight. I don't think that he fully understands how to do an appeal. Maybe Bobby Laws or one of his other fake lawyer friends will help him. If he appeals, I would obviously push back and say no Zoom for the appeal because fuck that. If he does appeal, then, I will probably be looking for an attorney. So if anyone is an attorney in Massachusetts, I am contrary to what, Jose wants to put out there. I'm a broke bitch. So if anyone can be a discounted rate, that'd be great. But we'll cross that bridge when we get there.
But
You know?
let's be clear too. I think the judge knew he was going to threaten something like that because the way he laid it out, accusation for accusation for accusation, point for point, and the judge actually also acknowledged that's the reason he cited the case law was in case of appeal. It was pretty clear to me that the judge was aware of, I'd say who, but rather what he was dealing with. He was pretty well primed.
It was
he
also
purposely
beautiful.
made it difficult.
Yes, and it was also beautiful. He asked the judge for help how to file the appeal, and the judge is like, "Do your own research."
Right.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, and again, like, you know, am I concerned about the appeal? I have a lot of experience with this internet trolling shit. I've been going back and forth with people for years. This is, I mean, honestly, it's what I do for fun. I've had a lot of reflection, as you know, because I've been doing this YouTube thing for like 3 years now, which is, I mean, it's kind of a long time to stick with one hobby, especially for me. I'm kind of a flippant person usually. So I've really reflected on, like, you know, because there's some times that I'm like, what the fuck am I even doing on YouTube? Like, you know, I'm not really a big mission-based or purpose-based person. I'm not a difference maker. And I'm reflecting, especially when I start getting tired of the 1A auditors and wander over into other communities. Like, what am I doing? And I know that part of it is just that I am like a internet community tourist. I find these kind of small fringe communities that I find interesting, and I want to learn as much as I can about it, and understand what brings these people together, what the ideology is, you know, what makes it tick. And also what I really learned about myself and what kind of drew me to the First Amendment auditors. And I had this conversation with Josh in the car today, actually, briefly about, you know, because he was the one that really kind of brought my attention to 1A, and his auditing style has changed a lot, you know, since then. But it was the use of power. I guess the same reason that a lot of 1A community and cop watch community members don't like the police is what kind of bothers me about the shit on the internet. It's this use of power to put somebody in a vulnerable or below position, right? Because when you've got that camera out and you're yelling at a cop and telling him that he's a fucking faggot, or, you know, that he beats his wife and, you know, beats his dog, or accuses him of murder people, that's a stranger that you don't know. And you are using the internet clout that you have and the fact that this is on camera and that he's on duty to essentially put him in a position that is below you for no other reason than you can. And I'm not saying that you shouldn't test authority, because, like, you know, when I really think about myself and who I am as a human being, I test authority a lot in my own way. I do. But I don't like, I guess, what I perceive as bullies. I don't like Turtle Boy because I feel like, you know, especially after being with him all the years and participating in this to a certain extent, he preys on people that are marginalized and vulnerable and going through bad times in their life, that don't have the resources or sometimes the intelligence or they're not articulate enough to be able to fight back in, you know, these mobs that people create to bully other people. I don't like that. I wouldn't like if it was the government bullying people or the police. I don't like it to watch it on YouTube. And to me, Chille is a fucking bully. And, you know, I really had to put this in perspective at one point and go, like, where am I moving forward with it? I want to level the playing field, I guess, with a lot of these people. That's what I want to do, whether it means that they drag me to court or whether I come up with these ridiculous and elaborate trolls and drive you nuts and get under your skin, whether I just stand up and say, you know, whether it's to your face or, you know, from across the screen, like, other people might be afraid of you, but I'm fucking not, because I'm not afraid of anyone.
Well, that was the best thing. Oh, that was the best thing also during the parade. You fucking looked down at him and said, "I'm not afraid of you." And that just, it made him turn even more red.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Calling him short and, like,
she called me short, Your Honor.
Telling him that you weren't intimidated got him so pissed.
But that's the whole point. Like, can't you do what we do? Like, it's really the exact same thing. Like, I don't like you. You know, I don't like what you guys fucking do. And we've been at it for fucking years. But, I mean, it really is a win for the First Amendment, because for the people that are backing Chille, he is no friend to 1A. He's a tyrant without a badge. Like, that's all it is. You know, he wants to walk around and be the toughest guy in the room as long as there's a woman there. And I even explained on video, which he chastised me for later and said I was undermining him, that, you know, we can walk around and follow cops all day. She can walk around and follow us all day. It's just have fun with it, troll her back, but you immediately go from 0 to a fucking 100 because you're not as smart as you want people to think that you are. Like this, it makes no sense.
Yeah, but the problem is amplified by the fact that he was dealing with a woman, and people from this past who have of their own volition joined and talked about it and everything have clearly said he has a undeniable issue with women, especially strong women. Kate is a strong woman, stood up to him, not taking his bullshit, not afraid of him, and he panicked. He doesn't know what to do, and now he lost again. He lost during the parade. Now he lost in court. So now his soul is crushed again, and he loses again. He doesn't know what to do.
Kate does have more victories in court than Chille does.
Well, that's definitely true.
I don't love going to court. It's something that I will do when I have to. At this point, with very few exceptions, I know I have probably one action that I'll be taking that I'm not even freaking discuss tonight, but I will probably never bring you to court when you really have to cross the line at this point. There was a period of time back in the Turtle Boy days when, I could see that he was fucking, going after my kids. My daughter comes home crying. I, go out and try to get a, harassment order. I get it, ex parte, it gets dismissed. We're back and forth. I would not go back and do that again. It creates a fucking spectacle over words on the internet. I get a little bit, I guess I draw a little bit of a harder line if you go after my kids to a certain extent, though, because honestly, unfortunately, they become just as grizzled as I am through this bullshit. And there's some lessons that I think honestly were worth it for everybody in my family to learn about, not fucking backing down to the mob and not backing down to fucking bullies, right? And really having enough self-confidence in who you are to not have strangers on the internet tell you who you are, right? I don't take that. We don't take that here. But I will not bring people to court except for rare. But if people take me to court and I gotta go, I'll do it at this point. I will do it. Don't love it, but I'll do it. And I'll do it every single time to show that, I will not submit. I will not submit. And if I get into a situation, I guess, with the police, even at this point, I try to avoid that. But, where I felt that it was unjust and I felt like, the government was bearing down upon me to submit, I would have the same reaction. I don't think I fully understood that until I was face to face with Chille and he was behaving exactly like I hear auditors talk about what they call tyrant cops. That, if there are people out there behaving like that with or without a uniform, you don't fucking stand for that. No.
Mm-mm. Absolutely.
Drama Dome is over here. Chille is your god, and you will bow down to him. Yes, drama. Yes.
And I want to thank Josh. We have a new sponsor for Masshole Reports, and that would be Ripsaw Pedicures.
Yes, yeah. Buzzsaw.
Buzzsaw. I'm sorry.
The 360 Halo Cam.
Yes.
Josh made me feel so bad about myself that I booked a pedicure and went and got one, actually.
See, that's good trolling. All he had to do was do that. That's all he had to do.
Yeah. Right, and honestly, that's the sort of thing that, it doesn't bother me. I saw a lot of people in your comments, Josh, for that were like, "Fuck you guys, you're making fun of her appearance." Guys, it's not that deep. It's not that deep. Don't get upset about that, please. It doesn't upset me. Jesus Christ. It's silly because if anyone's been around, I constantly my nickname for Josh has been bitch tits for 3 years.
That's me.
Yeah, it is.
I'm with her. We're together.
I will say that they are not as large in person as they appear on camera. I will.
Yes, they are, Matt.
Oh, that's disappointing.
Stop.
The only thing
that's bigger than my tits right now is my head because you're gassing it up. You stop.
This is a question I actually have for James and actually you, Josh. I actually had it for Chille as well. What do you guys think of his proposal for a federal police force throughout the United States?
I mean, dude, what do you think about, ordering General Gao's chicken and have it policing the fucking neighborhood?
Right.
I mean, it's fucking ridiculous. It makes no sense.
No. And the fact that he keeps advocating this is such a great idea, but yet you're against government. It's you want a federal police force. Don't you really? You can call it whatever you want. You can call it transparency. You can call it Josh Abrams' fucking delivery service. It's a federal police force you want, you fucking retard.
Yeah, because that works out so well in Mexico and other countries,
He works well in North Korea. Exactly, James. And that's just it. But he doesn't see that. And it baffles me.
So
I think it's a constant line between does he believe what he's saying, or is it, just he's toted it so much that, now it's just become part of his daily nature. Because I don't think any person can think that. Like sticking a fucking halo cam in your head. It's the same as a body cam. A cop can fucking take it off. I mean, it makes no sense. Like if he had some amenable solution, like I'm happy to fucking hear it. I'm all for it. But a 360 fucking halo cam, like that's fucking ridiculous.
And there's going to be one of those dudes on every block, right?
Yeah, and you know what I want to know? I want to know what the guy from the Adobe stock photo that he used for the friggin' Halo Cam transparency officer would think of that whole thing. Because, man.
I just really want to see sharpshooters on Segways.
Yes.
I just want to address Wendy Donnelly's comment right here before I lose it. And kind of clarify this. So, I mean, I am obviously the internet's most notorious shitty mother, but she says, just a personal opinion here. I believe anyone's children should be protected from any kind of abuse from jerks on the internet. I agree. I will not go after children. It is 100%. Not something that I do. I will not go after people's fucking parenting because I do not believe that it is my business how other people raise their children, nor could I possibly know how they're actually raising their children unless I live in their house, which I don't. I don't usually let my kids know the majority of what happens online because they don't fucking need to. What I am referencing back when is my feud with Turtle Boy. He was not content simply spreading rumors that I physically and sexually abuse my children, call my daughter a hooker, call my son a child molester, even though he's only 13 years old. And what he is trying to say is that he was a child molester at 5, which is preposterous. He wasn't content with just that. He actually contacted my daughter's school, and she was in 8th grade at the time. She was 13, and so the guidance counselor actually, it was remote at the time, I remember, and I get a call sobbing from my daughter while I'm at work, and then email from the guidance counselor because they had actually called my daughter to ask about these online articles that were going up with all these terrible, terrible things being written. And unfortunately, because I was at work, this 13-year-old child sat and perused every single vicious, nasty, terrible comment that was left on that terrible blog about her, a 13-year-old girl from full-grown adults. So under normal circumstances, I do the best that I can to protect my children. I suppose you could make the argument that I simply shouldn't be online, but that's bullshit. Just because I'm a woman and a mother, and just because I have a past myself that isn't always fucking pretty, does not mean that you get to silence me. And that's the lesson that we've all in my house taken away from that, is that, like, no matter who you are out there, you get to own your voice. It fucking matters, and assholes online are not going to shut that up.
Well, speaking of assholes online, and speaking of having your own voice, Josh noted that Chille is allegedly planning to go to Colombia, and you pointed out, as you have many times, as we all have, that Chille goes after vulnerable people in vulnerable situations. Well, here's a question. What's going to happen to the people who he's promised help to, like Aaron Collins and Christy Roan and Ken Freeman, when he goes to Colombia and they're left with their own voices? They're left with no help that he promised them, facing serious criminal allegations, serious criminal problems.
Matt, regarding that, what has he done for anybody? It's a money grab.
Exactly.
He's done. I mean, as much as I don't agree with what Josh and Freeman and these guys do, they've done more to bring attention to situations that do deserve the proper light. What has Chille ever done to actually forward whatever movement you want to call it? What has Chille done to forward anything?
He hasn't. But my point being, though, that he has these people hanging their hopes on him, granted falsely, because they're never going to, it's never going to amount to anything. But, you got to acknowledge the bad situation they're going to be in when stuff hits the fan, and they're left holding the bag with no Bobby Laws or Chille DeCastro to give them what they promised them that they were never going to get anyway. But
that's their own ignorance, though.
Yeah, Matt, all of it's a double Ponzi. Like when you look down to it, like
100%.
He's using these people's names and their issues, so that way, like it's almost like a line of credit on every person whose life is severely fucked up, right? Like with Christy and Sarah, he gets a line of credit on them. So then a month down the road, he can be like, oh, well, guys, I can't go back to Ohio because I have to figure this out, but we need to get money for Christy, so send me this money. He's just using these people as a line of credit. And I wait to see the day where he finds some super wealthy person that he's going to help with their injustice, because injustice just doesn't happen to poor or middle-class people. Injustice can happen to everyone. And I've yet to see someone that has half of an education and a decently settled bank account be approached by Chille and be like, let me help you out, because they might just call bullshit.
And I agree 100%. My point just being that there are going to be people left in his wake, granted, people who are alleged to have done horrible things that made their own choice to hang their hopes on empty promises from Bobby Law and Chille de Castro. But it needs to be acknowledged that he's doing this, that he is going to be walking away and out of, away from those already empty promises.
He goes after the low-hanging fruit, and I was actually about to bring this up, Skeptic. This guy he's defending so vehemently, Kent Freeman, was just indicted for embezzling between 5,000 allegedly, yes, indicted. That's why it's indicted for allegedly embezzling between $5,000 and I think $35,000 is what the indictment said from a little old lady, and then threatening her basically.
And you know what?
Ahead,
I think I passed the point. I know I was sent that indictment. I read it over. I chose not to publicize it at this point because I consider it to be, I don't know this Kent guy. I don't know the whole situation. I haven't done enough research into it, really. I've learned over the years of pulling police reports that police reports are not always accurate. Eyewitnesses can be unreliable. Police can be unreliable narrators, especially if they go, leave and go back to the station and then write their report. They get details wrong sometimes. Sometimes they lie. I haven't actually encountered a police report yet where you can say that's a definite lie, but I'm aware that happens. A police report and a charge isn't a conviction. And although it gives you some background information and can give you some sort of, insight into allegations and insight into sort of what people have gotten themselves into in character and all that, I don't know enough about Kent. What I do know is that if these allegations are true, then you cannot call this a miscarriage of justice. I do not see anything in the Kent Freeman case that would indicate to me that he has been egregiously mistreated by the system at this juncture. And people fuck up, all right? Like I've really come to terms with this shit and understanding both in myself and other people through this internet YouTube screets game. People fuck up, Do not block somebody else's blessing here through the consequences of their actions. I've had to fall hard. Abrams has had to fall hard. Harry's a fucking angel, and so is Matt, and
True.
so they don't get into trouble. But you fuck up and you hit the consequences, and it will ideally make you a better person in one way or the other. So I'm not going to lambaste Kent Freeman here. I am going to say that Chille seems to pick up people who have very little hope because more likely than not, the allegations against them are accurate. And then in trying to just inject a little bit of money into them to keep them dependent on him so he can keep this line of credit open, not only is he stringing them along on false hope and probably in some cases feeding some addictions or other demons that, do not need to be fed. He's also really blocking them from growing as human beings by go through the system, learn about the system, learn how to advocate for yourself, learn that, if you really did embezzle $50,000 from a little old lady, you probably shouldn't fucking do that again. Like, just live through it.
And that's perfect. That's exactly what I was trying to say, put in a much better way. Kate nailed it.
Well, if they speak out, then mine is not the sole situation of Blackmail. The guy who he stole the gun from, he was in my home speaking to this guy, and this guy was praising him. He was like, "Oh no, the guy that said that you stole the gun, he was wrong. I didn't talk to him." And I'm messaging. I told Kate, I was like, "Yeah, I think that this is the one thing he actually didn't do," because I'm listening to the phone call. So I go upstairs, I grab myself a drink, I come back down, and Chille's like, "No, we're gonna have to go over that again. The call recorder wasn't on, so let's redo that." So then I messaged her. I was like, "No, never mind. He was just rehearsing for the fucking camera." Like, those who would be willing to say something, and that's another reason why he's going shallow in the talent pool, is because he's going after people that can't mount a defense to go back after him. You know what I mean? Like a poor person is much more likely if they think it will help them to spend their last dollar than a rich person would. You know what I mean? And then they're also vulnerable. So there's much less of a likelihood that they're going to fight back or do anything about it.
Art says, "Can we get his channel shut down?" No, we don't get his channel.
Why do you want to do that?
Yeah, why stifle his free speech? He's a retard, but why stifle his free speech? I mean, you know,
he's so fun.
Yeah, that's true.
I find him enjoyable. You know, like I don't know where the Chille saga goes from here. I don't feel like it's over.
No, God, no.
Oh, hell no.
I don't feel like it's over. You know, and like again, like I tend to beat these dead horses. People eventually be like, enough about this one person. I'll move on eventually. You know, I just kind of, you know, go with, because a lot of this for me is just, it's fun. I enjoy it. I am a troll. That is what I am. I am an honest troll, though. I will say the one thing: I will never, ever, ever speak on someone's name without knowing what I'm talking about. You know. And I know I'm going to catch some fucking shit later for, oh, you have Josh Abrams up here talking about scamming, blah, blah, blah. But I will say this, and Abrams is going to hate me for saying it, but this guy knows what he's fucking talking about because he's fucking run games of his own in the past, right? Like, those are the people that you sometimes need to listen to. But again, when you go through it and you come through on the other side, right? Like, you know, you're hip to it now. You know how it works. You can recognize it immediately.
Don't get it twisted. Kate will be talking shit about me tomorrow, but you know that you're the fucking largest piece of scumbag in all of existence when people like myself and then Kate have to, you know, work together to take down someone like fucking Chille. But stay tuned. She'll be dropping a video about me tomorrow.
I haven't been videos in a lot. You're fucking boring now, Josh. And like,
You
whatever.
are.
Like, I fucking play this game back and forth. I've always admitted this in public. I think that Josh has been a fucking scoundrel. Right? I have absolutely called out when I fucking think that things are reprehensible. But as a person, I like Josh Abrams. Always fucking have. I've been called out for this before when fucking Turtle Boy pulled this shit. Oh, look, these private messages. She's nice to Josh Abrams. I will probably, until either the day that I die or I stop talking to this kid, constantly encourage him to continue the upward fucking growth because I think he's capable of shit. And if you don't like that, like, you're not going to change my mind. Fuck you. Really. Honestly.
And to me, the glaring difference between Josh and Chille, and one of the reasons I really respect Josh, especially after meeting him, is he'll admit that he used to be a piece of shit. Yes, I know. But he's self-aware enough to know that he used to be a piece of shit, that he did horrible things. He was a jackass. He hurt people. Chille's too narcissistic and self-absorbed to admit it.
I have no victims. Like, you, dude, you were gonna fucking throw somebody in jail because they were gonna release a fucking video, and like I was like so taken aback by that because I'm like, yeah, all these fucking years, like I have never been like, you know what I want to plot to do today, like throw Abrams in jail. I've gotten one person hemmed up on a warrant. It was Will Turbot, I believe it was 2019. And although
he brought that up.
Everybody thought it was a funny fucking video. In retrospect, like I was out of my fucking lane. That was a fucked up thing to do. I probably wouldn't apologize to Will Turbot because I still think he's a fucking douche and I think he's a fucking basket case and I find him to be unlikable. But I could have probably handled that. That was just, it wasn't even a troll. It was just a fucking shitty thing to do. I've learned since then. It's evolution, guys. I'm not perfect. I'm a fucking scumbag too.
But Josh, am I out of line to say that, or is that accurate? As a person who's been targeted by Chille in retaliation, is that an accurate statement?
Which part?
Yeah, right. What?
That you're self-aware enough to admit your past, and he's just so narcissistically delusional that, you know, he can't deal with it.
Well, I mean, I don't think I was ever a shitty human being. I was just a shitty person. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't really care about anyone else besides myself. I was involved in drugs, and, you know, it took coming out of that to be able to understand that, like, I can fuck up. I think every single person can look at themselves and say, I fucked up. And that's not just me saying that because I'm here. You can see the difference from how I would, you know, conduct myself in my work back then and how I conduct myself now. But you have to, like, that's the pure definition of what a sociopath is, right? Like, he has no empathy. He doesn't think he can do wrong, and you can show him that he's doing wrong, and just for the fact that he won't ever admit it, he won't. So, I mean, with someone like that, you can't win.
To answer Courtney's question, Kate's going to release the Chille version of the first hearing last week. We go from today. And then we're going to get the hearing from today in a couple days. We don't have the video, but we will have the audio of that today's hearing. It's long. I'm sure Kate will edit out just the highlights, but again, there's so many awesome highlights.
Yeah, it's endless fun, and I think it's great that he brought up so many things that the tape will be great. It's going to be great.
And I will tell you right now, Chille, because I know you're watching and you're seating in your little mobile home. There's some sound clips we're going to use from that about you that are fucking epic, you retard.
You need to use the sound bites, Kate, moving forward whenever you have any sort of issue, and you can have like your kangaroo court and you can play the judge ruling that he's a troll. That's fucking perfect.
Or he doesn't like touching women because they're disgusting. Shit like that.
He gets no pleasure from touching women.
He gets no pleasure from touching women because they're disgusting.
I forgot he said that too.
Oh my God, dude, that was fun.
All I'm going to say is I think the intro may get a little more interesting once that tape is in hand.
Probably.
So people are dying to come up, Kate. I know Andrew's dying to come up. He wants to defend Chille's honor. I don't know if you want to drop the link yet, especially for Andrew.
Yeah. Teresa, it's going to take me 15 minutes, and I'm going to hand this panel over to Harry right now. But again, like, you dropped this on me an hour ago. Anyway, so I have to go pick up my daughter's friend. She's very upset that it's late. So what I'm going to do, Harry, is I'm going to pass the panel off to you. If you're still going in 30 minutes, I'll be back. But I'm going to go pick up this kid real quick. So I know. Cool. So drop the link, do whatever you want. The only thing I'm going to say is, like, I'm not having a bunch of, like, this has been grating on me anyway. It's not just because Josh literally saved my life and then went to court today. But, you know, like, when people come up here and fucking throw this rapist accusation around, I will say it for the umpteenth time. I read out that report. I believe it was 2 or 3 years ago now. He was never charged with sexual assault. So I just want to make that clear. We don't do false fucking accusations here. You know what I mean? Like, like, free speech. People are free to come, free to go, whatever. But, like, if you're making fucking wayward, sideways fucking accusations like that, I'm going to ask that you immediately get kicked just for the sheer stupidity and inaccuracy, if nothing else.
Absolutely. Okay? I'm not going to have people come up here. I mean, Josh has been a trooper tonight. Like I said, Josh and I've talked mad shit about Josh for over 2 years now. Still not a fan of him. I think he's doing the right thing. I think James Freeman's doing the right thing about calling this guy out. Someone who, you know, does something for us.
30 minutes, right?
Yeah, we'll be here. You know, by all means, like, I'm not going to have people sitting here shitting on Josh for things they don't know the full story on. So I just dropped the link. People want to come up. You try to make sure we don't get porn bombed. Let's see here.
Yeah, and that is one thing that's important for anybody who's new to this community, who's new to Masshole, is that there's a lot of satire and there's a lot of hyperbole and there's a lot of shit talking. But at the end of the day, there's no accusations that are not backed up by facts. There is a lot of time spent by Kate and members of the team on public records, on verifying facts. So that just does not happen.
No, absolutely. And I will say, as far as I know, no one's actually ever come out and accused, at least from Masshole that I can think of. No, James, you cannot come up and porn bomb. No one's actually come out and accused Chille of actually beating women. I have said that you do show characteristics in your behavior that you may have abused a woman in the past, just by the way you treated Kate and the way you talk about women overall.
And he does have multiple restraining orders regarding his behavior towards women in the past, but no one has made any accusations regarding violence, at least not an asshole.
Correct. I got to drop somebody because I promised Andrew to come up and he was fucking dying to come up. I'm sorry, go ahead, buddy.
Say this and I'll be in and out.
Okay.
I've never weighed in on this, but I want to say I spotted it a year ago. This guy's a scumbag. And my heart goes out to Tina Slay. Sorry for what happened to your son. Sincerely.
No, it's awesome, bro. You sound like Rice Krispie.
I am.
He is Rice Krispie.
He is.
Okay. Jesus. I'm looking at you. I said, you don't look the same. I haven't seen you on a stream in a long time. I said your voice gave you away, bro.
Yeah. Well, I mean it from the bottom of my heart, Tina.
That's awesome, buddy.
That's it.
And on a little note, just before the shit show starts. I just want to give a shout out to member of the Masshole team, TC, really great guy, going through a little bit of a hard time. We all support you. Really stepped up today in a pinch during the recess to help get some clips that unfortunately weren't used. They weren't fortunately / unfortunately they weren't necessary because the judge saw through the transparency of everything. But great guy, reliable guy, always on the ball, and we support you, dude, and appreciate you greatly.
TC.
Did you drop rights to bring up Andrew?
No, Wrights just wanted to come up and say what he said about Tina's son, what she's going through.
Oh, okay. I would say I'd rather have rights here than Andrew anyway.
Well, I like Andrew.
You. Chille.
Andrew's team Chille.
Yeah, well, I want to address James' statement. Hold on, I want to address James' statement real quick. You know, it's funny that. Hold on, Andrew, 1 second, buddy. It's funny you said that because I mean, how often on Masshole streams have you seen Joe Cool, James Freeman, Josh Abrams, Rights Crispy, Rogue Nation? I think Extra Good Citizen was in here for a while. I mean, how many times have you seen, you know, these guys in our chat and actually all of us getting along and actually not shitting on each other and actually bringing attention to one person who is taking advantage of the weak? And like I said, what you guys claim to fight against.
Yeah, if you got the forefront of the 1A community and the Masshole troll mafia against you, you done fucked up.
All right, Chille.
Hey, Josh.
Go ahead.
Yo,
I'm sorry.
yeah, I'm here. My microphone was on.
Hey, it's Desert. I did receive your reply, and I would love to sometime. We can have coffee.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, man.
He really wants that channel, Josh.
I'm sending out the PayPal as well as we speak. It's just going to cut me. You need to cut me a little slack financially. I've just now gotten sued.
Well, we're all going to get sued this week. I mean, especially that we're all collaborating together, and we've set that we've all set Chille up. This was all set in motion about 4 months ago when he came on YouTube. So this was all our big plan to set Chille up. And I like the fact of what James has said here. I mean, I have seen videos that you guys have done that I have agreed with, that the cop have overstepped his boundaries. And I think it's great that you're calling out a piece of shit like Chille. You know, he can spin it however he wants to. Did he push Kate as hard as he could? No, he didn't. Did he put his hands on a woman who didn't deserve it? Yeah. Did he keep trying to set that woman up? Yes. And the reason that there's no one shown video of it, Chille, because one, you kept putting your fat fingers, your stubby little sausage fingers over the camera so no one could see what you were doing. But Kate's camera clearly showed it. Josh's camera clearly showed what you were doing. They weren't edited. So, but I must let Andrew talk real quick before he explodes.
I just don't know if you're picking on my friend Chille. I mean, he's a goddamn American hero.
When you start auditing with Chille, I will back Chille up 100%.
That's happening tomorrow.
He might be coming to your neck of the woods.
No, I've been talking to him. What's that? Hey, Josh, why did you ban me or block me on Facebook Messenger?
Because I don't like you. Why would I speak to you?
Well put.
Well, have I offended you somehow?
I haven't blocked you on YouTube. I just block you in places I don't need to speak to you.
You can't block me on YouTube. You can try.
Well, I don't really block people on
Yeah, you
YouTube.
do. You block me on Facebook. So, yeah, you do block people.
No, I said on YouTube. I have no reason to speak to you on a private forum.
Josh, go sit in the corner for me. Thank you. So
Listen,
I don't understand why everybody's so mad at Chille. He's just doing his due diligence to the world.
Nah.
I know you're trying to be the protagonist, Andrew, or I'm sorry, Chille, but it's not working. It's hard to even let you play the protagonist with him.
That's what somebody scared would say.
I think he really means it this time, though.
Yes.
I really meant it this time.
Andrew's turned a new leaf, and we all can see that.
Okay, I'm done.
And as soon as you're back in chat, Andrew, I'm timing you out, buddy. That's just to give you a warning. So
I had chat pretty mad a while ago with all my comments.
People take this shit too seriously, and like I said, it just amazes me that, especially going back to Chille, and I really do hate shitting on this guy for going on 2 hours now. I really don't hate it. But it's like you claim to be this First Amendment speaker that you want everyone's rights to be upheld. But yet, as soon as someone trolls you and pulls her inner Michael Picard out, you lose your shit. It's like, dude, really? I mean, Josh did it professionally. Josh did it the best way, and that's exactly what Chille should have done. He should have turned around and pulled Michael Picard on Kate that day at the parade.
Hey,
I mean, we've seen
chat,
Gary.
I gotta say it in chat. No threats of violence. No advocacy for violence. That's not cool.
Yeah, I'm gonna do block art right now. I just seen that.
I mean, we've seen people lose their shit before.
I am not a Chille supporter, just for the audience, okay? Jesus Christ.
Shut up, Andrew.
Hey, let me tell you something.
I've known Andrew for 2 years now, and him and I are friends outside of YouTube. I'll never admit that again, but I knew for a fact that he was
Clip
not
that,
a Chille
clip that.
supporter. Oh well, it doesn't hurt me at all. It hurts Andrew.
You're right. It hurts me.
Yeah, it killed Andrew's clout. So, yeah, but I mean, Andrew was trying to play the protagonist and support Chille, which I don't think anyone on the 1A side, the whatever you want to call us side, could ever really legitimately support what he says. I mean, again, I don't agree with what Andrew or Josh and James do all the time. But who in their right mind would advocate for a federal police force, no matter what you call it? I mean, like I said, call it transparency. James, I think you could come up and support Chille. But I mean, who would in their right mind would ever support a federal law enforcement agency? And who's going to oversee the Montesquieu's and what's the other group called? The Transparency Group or whatever? Who's going to oversee them?
Transparency, Transparency and Montesquieu. And who's to say that the people... let me put it this way. Somebody made a reference to a gag South Park did. And if you want to look it up on YouTube, you can go ahead. Called the Toilet Security Agency. And it's basically this pervert watching people on the toilet to make sure they're using a seatbelt. It was a great gag. But that's a problem. Like, how do you vet the people that are watching them? Watching these cameras to make sure they're not just like sadists enjoying violence? How do you make sure that they're not leaking the footage? Like, there's all kinds of problems that he doesn't want to address.
Well, not only that, but he said he'd give bonuses out to officers who don't do anything, basically. So now you're going to motivate your transparency team to not do anything by ignoring things.
So bribes. Yeah, the NYPD's been doing that for years.
Right. Hey, Jenny, welcome. First time I've ever seen you in our streams. What's going on?
Yeah, no, I've been a lurker for quite a while and have been in a lot of live streams, and this is the first time I've actually been able to participate in something. So thanks for having me.
No, anytime. As you can see, we pretty much allow everything. You have a whole spectrum of fucking people up here right now.
Well, I do actually have a question, and I've been wondering this for a while. And Schrodinger's cat is the one that got me interested in First Amendment auditors. I started watching him many moons ago, and the one thing that I had never heard mentioned about First Amendment auditors, sovereign citizens, and anyone of that ilk is, why isn't anyone checking in with their mental health? Because to me, this type of behavior is not what would be considered normal. The way that a lot of these people act, and especially Chille, which is who we're discussing tonight, it's not what would be considered normal or healthy behavior. So why hasn't anyone ever stepped in and done some sort of mental health check on any of these people?
We'll just burn ourselves out. Don't worry about it. Just let us run rampant. We'll burn ourselves out. It'll work out.
Pretty much. And the ones that last, like the Jameses, the Joshes, the Rice Krispies, they believe in their mission. And I mean, again, it goes back to free speech. They, this is what they believe in. This is what they've set their path to be. And I support that. And that's, again, I don't have to agree with it to support it. As you shouldn't. I think Chille is the extreme to what these First Amendment auditors are. Or again, I hate using that word. I don't know what you guys want to classify him as, but statist, for one. He's definitely one of the extremes. And the ones that have gone to the extremes, like the Ian McGuire's, and I know this is going to piss a couple of you guys off, the Eric Brandt's, they have paid the consequences for their actions.
Hey, Harry.
Stupid games win stupid prizes.
I can answer part of that. Kyle Stone, swine repellent. He did a little stint in a mental health facility. Chauncey Hollenberry, who was just recently released from federal custody, otherwise known as the law offices of Daddy and Master Dragonfire Auditing, did have a mental health evaluation while he was in custody for his federal case. So on the rare occasion, I mean, this is like 0.5% of people that have actually had the courts have him mentally evaluated that I know of.
And actually, Chauncey was required to get one when he was released a couple weeks ago. And like I said, that's when I don't agree with. I don't. Agree. I don't agree with them keeping Chauncey. I mean, Chauncey's a fucking psycho. But they kept this kid in jail for 2 years, and he hasn't been to trial yet. He's sitting in federal custody, and he still's not been to trial.
No, he pled. He signed the guilty plea, and he will be sentenced, I believe, in August. The bond conditions do require him to seek mental health and take any medications that are given to him.
Okay, I didn't realize he had pled out.
Can we get a link drop in chat?
Yep.
Yeah, stand by.
So, for those of you guys who don't know who I am, my name is Paul. I actually work as a prosecutor in Ohio, and before that, I was an attorney working in estate planning and guardianships and conservatorships in Minnesota. And I have some experience trying to help clients get guardianships imposed on family members who are having clear mental health breakdowns and have diminished capacity issues and things like that. And I remember one case specifically, I had just the nicest grandma you could possibly imagine, trying to get help for her son and grandson, who the son was drinking himself to death, and the grandson had such severe mental health issues that he would take, in one instance, he took a chainsaw to the inside of the grandmother's cabin in just a fit of belligerent rage. And the issue is that if people who are otherwise autonomous adults don't want assistance, it's very limited in what you can impose on them outside of clear standards based on usually a state-by-state basis. So the person has to want some degree of help themselves before you can really impose a guardianship or a limitation based on those circumstances.
Real quick question, Paul. You're an attorney, right? Yep. Of the 9 people on this panel, soon to be 10 when Jam hits the link, Chille will be suing all of us. How many of those lawsuits do you think will be free?
Hey, Harry, real quick, Harry, if you need to drop somebody, let me come up. You can drop me. I come for try to plead my case. I just couldn't do it.
And you failed as usual, like Chille.
Yeah, I failed as usual.
There's only 9 up here right now. I got room for one more, so I'm waiting for Freeman to come up.
To be fair, I get to play the I'm safe card because he's not allowed into Canada with an active warrant.
He'll call Interpol.
Let's not forget Kate as well, who is still apparently going to get sued.
Yes.
Who's Kate?
So, Kate Picard.
I also, we're talking about this transparency business that he keeps trying to peddle. We all know it's a pipe dream. It never will happen. It's fantasy. The one thing that's tangible, though, is he's helping people file these federal lawsuits. And the one thing that I see that will occur is these federal lawsuits will ultimately fail and may, in fact, get dismissed with prejudice. And these people will only have one bite at that apple. And unless they seek real legal counsel, if they do, in fact, have merit, they're going to go nowhere using this legal pseudo law scholar of Chille DeCastro and his buddy Bobby Laws. That's where I see the big victimization in all of this is, and that's actually tangible. That's happening now. People's lawsuits are going to be dismissed. There's already been motions filed. They're going to go nowhere, including his own against Ironton in the state of Ohio.
Which is what I was getting at before, Desert, when and Kate worded it better than I did. But ultimately, he's convinced these people to lay false hopes and on empty promises that he's made, and they're going to be left holding the bag when it all hits the fan. And granted, they made that choice willingly, but they were deceived to make that happen. So, it's not right. They deserve a fair chance, regardless of what they're accused of. They deserve a fair day in court. And when he walks away and leaves them holding the bag, they're not going to get it.
Not only that, I mean, he may leave them in a worse off position than they already are in, because what usually goes along with having a motion dismissed is that the party who is the defendant will usually move for attorney's fees as well. So these people may find themselves, if they're ruled against, owing money to the people they were suing. Attorney's fees as well. So these people may find themselves, if they're ruled against, owing money to the people they were suing.
Feedback. Hey, James, we're echoing because of you, buddy.
It sounded better when Paul said it twice, though.
It did.
Yeah, I liked it.
Ryan,
hey, Paul, since you're here, Paul, give us a little breakdown on what the appeals process is and all of this, just generally.
Please.
Definitely.
So basically, any appealable issue is, or I should say, any ruling by a judge or any procedural matter can be an appealable issue. Somebody may appeal a judge's decision because they think it was the wrong decision. Somebody may appeal a judge's decision because they think the judge didn't consider evidence or considered evidence that he or she should not have. I mean, it's really, you can appeal for a lot of reasons, and sometimes it does just depend on the judge. If you get a judge who you didn't convince of the merits of your case, like in this case, clearly Chille did not convince the judge that what Kate did was harassment. So he may just go seeking another judge who will hopefully rule in his favor. But the way he argues, I would not hold my breath.
But if he appeals this case, it really doesn't have anything to do with the facts that were presented. It's the procedure, and it really wouldn't affect Kate at all in that he has to argue with the appellate court that the lower court made some ruling that was improper and have to argue the merits why.
So keep in mind also, I'm sorry, Paul, to cut you off. Keep in mind, this is a protection order, not a criminal or civil case. This is a civil protection order.
Would have been great if he had known that.
I thought this couldn't go to appeal. I thought, and if he does go to an appeal, automatically he's going to get a new judge. It's going to be a different court.
No, the judge said clearly in today's case that he can appeal it. Chille wanted the judge to tell him how to appeal it, and the judge is like, do your own research.
And the way that the judge laid out the ruling, it was fairly clear that he was laying it out with a path of landmines for Chille to try and appeal. He was trying to destroy Chille's appeal by laying out piece by piece, element by element, with the case law that caused him to rule like he was. It was very clear that the judge said, this is all BS, and, you've got nothing, so you can go ahead and appeal if you want to, but yet no.
But so officially, it was with prejudice or no?
I'm sorry, say that again.
No prejudice. It was not. There was no dismissal.
Okay.
Because it's not a case. It was a petition for a what's called a 258E order. I think that's the right. It's a harassment protection order. No order was issued because Chille had no frigging case, because there were no standards met. It did not meet the legal standard, the legal requirements. It was just him throwing another temper tantrum.
Okay. So in my state, it used to be called a restraining order. Then it was changed to an order of protection. Is that similar?
This was a harassment protection order, so it wasn't really a domestic violence protection order. It was a harassment protection order. And Josh, you know more about Boston law than I do. It's basically he felt he was being harassed by Kate, even though he was not even in the jurisdiction of Boston when he's claiming this. And the judge simply said, you don't have enough evidence to say that she's harassing you.
So if he would have had that, what would he have received?
A harassment restraining order saying that Kate basically could not harass him online. Well, I don't know what the ruling would have been.
Well, no, she'd still be able to, like, it just will clearly state that she can't have contact with him and she can't have third-party contact asking others to reach out to him. But that harassment prevention order would have in no way prohibited her from talking about him. Yeah, so it would have been moot anyways.
But if he would have gotten any traction whatsoever today, would he have gotten damages, or could he go for damages?
No,
no.
This was not. This was again just a protection order. It was nothing for. It wasn't criminal. It wasn't civil. It's just saying basically leave me alone. I can't see you in public. You can't see me in public.
So what would he need
between you?
I do want to note real quick. He did attempt to get damages, which of course he was not even entitled to try to get.
Well, I think most of us here were wondering like what the point would be, because he doesn't live there. He doesn't visit there very often. He's not going to see Josh anymore, obviously. What would, I guess it would be a win in his category, I suppose.
Well, he wants her to stop making videos about him.
Right.
It was an ego thing.
But a protection.
And Kate nailed that in her oral argument. She flat out said, and I'm quoting, "This is an attempt to chill my First Amendment right."
So Ryan, you got a question?
It wouldn't have kept, it would have kept him. It would have kept her away physically from him.
Right.
Who's the First Amendment defender now?
So let's assume that he does appeal this. About how long would that appeals process go?
I have no idea.
That would take at least 3 months in Massachusetts, because he's already.
Wow.
They could reserve jurisdiction in the district court, but he's already been heard by both judges. So by the time that it would get allocated to the Superior Court and he'd be heard, I mean, at least 90 days. But he's not going to do it because he won't. He just wanted today because he didn't want Kate to speak about him because he can't stand her. And he just wanted one win under his belt for his lawsuit category.
So you think that it's more likely that he's just going to bury this and hope that his followers would forget about it?
Well, he said that as much. He tried to make it appear as like he was a victim, and he said in his video today where he was almost in tears, he's like, well, I'm not going to talk about anyone anymore. I mean, he was trying to make it appear as he was being the bigger man, but I think he just wasn't able to take another L.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he's like, this is just rough guessing. I think he's like 0-4 or maybe even 0-5 in taking shit to court. I don't think he filed his appeal in Arizona in time. He lost that case miserably.
No, he didn't.
He didn't file it in time?
He didn't file it in time. There's a judicial review on the 15th next week.
And
Is that
Monday,
the one with the traffic violation?
Yes.
And Monday, this very coming Monday, the 13th, there is a hearing regarding his state lawsuit in Lawrence County, Ohio, which of course he cannot return to, and for which he has not filed a response for the motion to dismiss. So there goes that one.
Right, and that's the news station and the police department that he was trying to sue in federal court.
This is the state. I don't know if this is the same as the federal suit. I haven't checked Pacer in a while, but the one against WOWK, the police department and the officers as individuals, he never responded to the motion to dismiss, and there is a hearing this Monday. I forget what time, but this Monday the 13th at the courthouse.
Which state is that in?
Ohio.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
you
my.
can pretty much write that one off. He'll ask for a Zoom conference.
Well, no, what I figured was that he was going to have Kent Freeman go and file the paper. Oh, wait, he can't.
Josh, I was going to ask you, how did he get the Zoom hearing when he was told by the first judge he could not get the Zoom hearing?
I was just about to ask that too. I'm curious on that myself.
So he asked Judge Hinkle, and she's like she's just like a badass. She wasn't going to give it to him. So what he did, from my understanding, is that after this happened, the clerk magistrates in Massachusetts can do things like change your appearances, or in certain cases waive your appearances if your attorney's present without a judge order. So after the judge told him no, keep in mind he went in super late in the day, like 3:30, and he kept them there to like 5:30. So it was just the judge and a couple court officers. So to my understanding, Mom said no, so he went to Dad to see if Dad would say yes. And he's like, listen, I have this thing coming up, and I tried to explain to the judge, but it was the end of the day, and I won't be able to make it. Can I please do a Zoom conference? And they said yes, but I even confirmed with the clerk that, as of March, Massachusetts courts are fully open, and they do not do Zoom conferences unless it's an issue with the prison, transportation, or something like that. Whether it's civil or criminal, they don't do it.
This is the ex parte conversation she's getting a hold of?
No, we actually already have that, but we're waiting for the court copy. But yeah, this is the ex parte hearing that Chille had last Friday. That he he recorded without permission. Can't say the word tonight.
So you're getting audio or transcript?
Audio.
Oh wow,
Josh, I think it's important because there hasn't really been a whole lot said about what happened at the ex parte hearing. Can you explain to everybody a little bit about how that went down with Chille attempting to provide evidence and the judge ending up watching the whole freaking thing and sinking him?
Yeah, so I mean, he had sent me a copy of the hearing afterwards, which was after he fucked me over. So that's just him again thinking that he's smarter than everybody else. You just fuck someone over and now you're going to send them something like that. So I immediately disseminated this information to everybody. But he had this 1 minute and 50-second clip video package with him saying to Kate nicely, and I'm sure this is why he did it at the time. He was like, oh, Kate, I'm asking you to stay away from me. So he makes a 2-minute video package with just that and hands it to the judge and says, she's harassing me, she's stalking me, and she's battering me. And this woman is an old battle axe. Like, she is an absolute nutcase. And she even recognized me in the video, so that didn't help him off Jump Street. She was going to investigate this. So she's like, no, I don't want to see your 2-minute video. We're going to look at the whole thing. And then they watched the full live stream. And she was even citing how the police officer was like, well, the cop just said that you kept bumping into him. Is there other camera footage? He said no. And it was just her just absolutely grilling him. And when it was abundantly clear that she was going to in no way, shape, or form, enforce this order or give this order, that's when he started getting crazy. And then the court officer that was present today was behind him, was like, well, when the judge is finished speaking, you can finish speaking. And he called both the judge and the court officer a scumbag, which is great. I mean, I would call a court officer if he did something wrong to me a scumbag, but I went in there today. Matt's seen it. These guys all know who I were. They weren't mean to me. They didn't mistreat me. They didn't think I'm not going to treat someone like shit if they haven't earned it. And he just absolutely went off. So she was really upset. And she said that she wasn't even going to issue the 10-day order, which is strange because afterwards, and I have the messages, he's like, yeah, I got the 10-day order. We're back in 10 days. I was like, oh, you have a restraining order in 10 days? He's like, yeah. And then he sent me a fucking copy. He's already fucking fucked me over and blackmailed me. He's expecting that I won't read this fucking thing. And I'm like, Chille, this isn't an order. This is a 10-day fucking date. That's all this is. He's like, yeah. I was like, well, why would you tell people that it's an order?
Well, what Josh is also leaving out is when the judge is watching this video, he's literally exploding. Oh, that's not important. Don't watch this. Just watch my video.
Yeah. He's like,
an hour. It was what, an hour and 45 minutes?
Something like that, yeah.
67. It was a 67-minute voice clip, but that didn't have the first 30 minutes because he had to sneak his phone in. You're not allowed to audio record even for your notes inside the court. So, I mean, he started like 20 minutes late.
Right. No, but I'm talking about the live stream. The live stream that the judge watched. That, how long was that again? That was like an hour and 45 minutes that he had to stand there and just get demolished.
The entire stream was like an hour 45, but he didn't start telling children cops are going to rape him until like a good 40 minutes into it. So I think that's where they started.
When do the rest of us get to see this, you guys?
Kate said she's going to drop it tonight. I don't think she should. That's my opinion, but Kate does what Kate does. We have requested Kate has requested the FTR from the first hearing last week. Whether she's going to wait or not, I don't know. And let me address Rachel's here real quick because she's definitely in a Chille sucker, which is fine. I mean, we allow everyone in here. I think again, whether you like 1A auditors, cop watchers, whatever you want to call them, I think what Chille was doing to kids at a parade is not the place for that. I'm sorry. I will stand behind that. I think Josh agrees with that. I think Freeman agrees with that. I think she did a great job distracting them and getting them off the kids. And, you want to cop watch.
Josh and James do it in the privacy of their own home.
But Rachel's a really nice person, and I feel bad for Rachel because there's always going to be, whether it's your channel or my channel, like not for nothing, Kate can go out and kick a baby in broad daylight tomorrow and someone will be like, oh, that baby was talking shit, it deserved it. There's always going to be that cult of personality following that'll back you up regardless of what you do. And is Kate annoying? Yes, but here's the thing, Rachel, right? You watch Chille every day go out and film people, and it's acceptable for him to go film people and to follow them around, and that's acceptable. Now, I want you to look at what happened. What is worse in this situation if we're talking about harassment? A grown man telling a 6-year-old child that police officers are going to rape them, or Kate saying, he's with me, he's my brother. So if she's harassing him, then he must be if he's harassing her, then they're in turn, what now, harassing each other? But we can't see beyond that. I mean, at the end of the day, because you got trolled and you weren't the bigger man, you don't just fucking start throwing hands at people.
Right. And what's funny, you say this, freedom of speech. Well, where's Kate's freedom of speech, Rachel? What quote a law she broke? Where did Kate cross that line? Did she threaten Chille? Did she go to Chille's house? She went to a public event that Chille was live streaming from, harassing little kids. Call it what you want. He was harassing little kids who are trying to get candy. Whether, again, you support cops or not, the kids are at that age, or, they like firemen, they like cops. Let them learn as they grow up. You don't need to be told by some Sally Jesse Raphael looking fucker walking down wearing red sunglasses telling you the cops are going to rape you. That's just not the place for it. I'm sorry.
Well, it's blinded by the light, Harry. Look at his stream. It really just depends on his stream is the video only shows him, right? So you can't see Kate or anyone else at all. And the only time Kate might come into frame, he blocks the camera. So my question to you, Rachel, is as a logical and a smart and decent person, which camera angle do you believe? The one where you have Chille's that shows nothing, or the one that shows these multiple assaults that we were able to get a Chille lookalike? I was able to have Lyle DeCastro come down for the day and reenact this situation, and we had St. Peters come in. I mean, it's literally on video. And here's the thing: Chille says it, I say it all the time. Cameras don't lie. Cops do. And it should be changed to cameras don't lie. Fucking tyrants do. And Chille is one of the biggest tyrants of all time. I mean, Rachel, this guy's for fucking freedom. And because I was going to release a video showing him hitting on somebody and running to the police, he says, that are going to rape little kids, he tries to throw me in the dungeon with the torture cuffs so I can have a telescope shoved up my asshole. I mean, it just doesn't make much sense. I know where somebody, she showed up, but so did he. So did we. We were both there. We showed up.
I'll tell you what she did. She said that he was short.
Rachel, do you want to come up on the panel? You're more than welcome to. I'll drop the link for you. Like I said, I've been with Kate for going on over 2 years now. This is the first time in 2 years, and I've talked a lot of shit about Freeman. I've talked a lot of shit about Josh. I've talked a lot of shit about Josh's girlfriend. But we can have civil conversations when something is wrong, something is wrong.
This is way bigger than that. I don't like you guys. You don't like me.
Right.
We're going to go back to not liking each other sometime soon. There can be parts where we hate each other or have mutual respect. I mean, but it's very abundantly clear. We don't want him. You know what I mean? There's no seat at the table. He's not even sitting at the fucking kids' table. He's down the street getting a bowl of soup at the shelter, and they don't even want him there.
Absolutely. All right.
And here, real quick, here's the thing, and I'm going to give Josh and James Freeman a heart attack by saying this, but look, it's freedom of speech. He's got his rights, but guess what? Either everybody has freedom of speech or nobody has freedom of speech.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yep.
James, I want you to chime in here in a second, buddy. I know you've been very quiet and I appreciate it, but Chille DeMilo is dying to have some fun for a second. So what do you want to say, Chille DeMilo?
Hey, everyone. How you doing?
Goodbye, Prime.
Hey.
Sorry. At least
Hey, Playboy. Playboy? Sup, Playboy?
Yeah.
Hey, James, I have a question, James.
Yeah, can I ask Jenny a question real quick first?
Okay.
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
Yeah, you were mentioning earlier that you see some. It was kind of vague. You were saying something about you see some people do some things that should result in mental health evaluations. Can you give me any specific examples of specific people or specific things done that you think should have resulted in these type of government forced evaluations?
Not so much government forced. I know just based off personal experience, I have friends, family that, have displayed somewhat worrisome behavior, and, family steps in, and, family and or friends step in and say, hey, look, this is kind of, what's going on with this? Why are you acting like this? It's not necessarily the government that needs to say something, but everyone has at least one person that's close to them that can see this, cussing out people, screaming at people in public, just creating a general disturbance. Chille saying these, police officers are going to, rape them, just anything that would be considered extreme. There's got to be somebody in anyone's life that sees this and is worried by it and has to question it. And it just concerns me that no one's saying anything or doing anything to help people that obviously there's something not quite right there for them to be so extreme in their behavior. And it's just, to me, it's just worrisome, the fact that it seems that nothing is being done to help them with these issues that are apparent to anyone with, two brain cells to rub together.
Why, Janine, I'm sorry to cut you off. Why I might not agree with some of their tactics. You're asking for government overreach at that point. And this goes back to stifling their free speech. Again, agree or not disagree. Now, there are some people out there, like I said, I'm not sure how James or Josh feel about Ian McGuire. To me, Ian McGuire was a fucking nut job. Some of the shit he pulled. I'm trying to get Kate back up here. I think you're asking way too much for the government to intervene with someone just because you don't agree with what they're saying.
It's not that I don't agree with what they're saying. It's that, everyone has, says in all their videos, everyone's entitled to their opinion. Everyone's entitled to freedom of speech. But there's a better way to go about it than being so extreme and confrontational and offensive in some cases.
That's your opinion, though. And again, I don't support auditors. Josh knows that. Like I said, I've made it very clear I don't support them. But again, that's the way
it's
they
a slippery
come
slope, right?
Right.
Because
Absolutely.
I mean, if you get to throw me in a cage because you think my behavior is bizarre, which honestly, I'll agree with you. Often my behavior is bizarre intentionally, but that means that we could turn that around on anybody. And with the climate that I see with the left versus right, Democrat versus Republican, those two sides each think that the other side is absolutely legitimately batshit crazy, institutionally out of their minds, right? That's an ugly place to go, to start, saying that the government gets to decide who's sane and who's not.
And again, I didn't say anything about the government. I'm personally saying that there's got to be someone in their personal lives that's seeing this extreme behavior and questioning it. And why isn't someone saying something to them?
That's fair enough, as long as the government is left out of it.
Yeah, and like I said, I wasn't intending to say it should be the government's decision. Okay. I'm just saying that, if it was me, God, I hope someone in my family or one of my friends is going to be like, hey, Jenny, what the hell is going on here? It's...
we have seen government stepping on stuff like this. We call it red flagging. And really, you don't have to do hardly anything. You can call and make up lies about somebody, and they get red flagged. Cops show up at their house, confiscate firearms. It's ugly. It gets real ugly.
And I do agree with that it does get ugly. But, I've seen footage of auditors calling African American cops the N-word, saying that they are their slaves and that they should.
We don't want him
Who
either.
said
Just
that?
for the record, we don't want him either.
Can I just have 5 minutes?
Who said that?
Oh God, I haven't.
Glenn Serio.
Yeah, thank you,
Can I
Glenn.
just have
Never,
5 seconds?
never
Yes,
heard of
Sasha.
him.
1 second, James. Yes, Sasha, please.
Hi, so I'm here because I am Chille's new girlfriend, and I heard that my man was sucking on Josh's tits, and
Oh
I
my
don't really
goodness.
get it because I have triple Fs, and Josh's tits are like double G's now, so I'm kind of jealous. So I'm just
honey,
here to
bless your heart.
confront
Triple
Josh
Fs?
on like Jerry Springer type shit. Like, was my man sucking on your tits, bitch?
Yeah, Joshua, what's your secret?
It's firstly, it's really good hygiene. Secondly, it's an only fatty food diet, and the estrogen doesn't hurt either. But if you combined all three, then it's just a recipe for success. I'm sorry, Sasha, you can have him back. I had my week with him. He's all yours now. My nipples are sore.
Okay, well, see, quite what I'm afraid of is my tits are quite smaller than yours now. So I think I'm gonna have to go back to Thailand, and I'm gonna have to get, my fucking chest stretched out even fucking more for my man, so that I just have to hope that I have to make sure, I have to check with my insurance broker to make sure that my life insurance policy on Chille is up to date. So that way, when my tits slide across his face.
Can I get someone to volunteer to drop down so Kate can come back up, please?
Hold on.
Well,
I just have to make sure.
When my boobs get too
I
big,
just have to make sure that Chille's life insurance is up to date. So that way, if one of my titties accidentally slides across his face and he suffocates, then I can get a payday.
Sasha,
I
if my
got a
titties get
bail.
too big and I get
All right,
depressed.
Desert, I appreciate it, buddy.
If my titties get too big, Sasha, and I get depressed, then thankfully Jenny can make sure I get a mental health evaluation, especially if I'm filming. So
Thanks,
I'll make
Desert.
sure not to go off the rails.
Who's this Sasha Crane? Is that Chille's mom?
That's Chille's ex-girlfriend.
I mean,
Is there such a thing as too big a titty?
if you need a good, if you get to the point that you need a good bra or whatever, just hit me up. I got all the good, manufacturers,
Bras
with titties-
galore.
with titties this big, we get samples of bras and stuff. So I can hook you
My
up. Josh.
goodness. I had to literally beg to get back on my own panel. Like,
I thought you were Your Honor. She called me short.
No,
See what you came back into?
Well, I was interested in this conversation that we're having about mental health evaluations, because I hear this a lot. I've heard this about Devin Bay, Floyd, and I think that honestly it is absolute. I mean, you have to understand that things like that, involuntarily committing people, right, historically has been used to marginalize and oppress people, particularly women, right, which to me is like, I'm a little bit of a feminist, I'm not gonna lie, right? That's a slippery slope. I just hate hearing that. You cannot impose your will or your idea of how people should behave on other people, at gunpoint with the government. It's never going to work out well. And although there may be a percentage of people that benefit from it, the margin of error in there that can be used to oppress or take advantage of people is way too large. It's just way too large.
I think Jenny clarified. She was more asking, like, why doesn't his family or friends intervene? It's like, dude, get some fucking help.
Yeah, that's exactly like no government involvement. I wasn't implying that wasn't even a blip in my radar. Like
That's the way it came across at first, quite honestly.
Oh, well, I'm sorry. That's
I was driving, so.
how I meant it.
Luckily, Jenny's an anarchist, so she only wants it to be voluntary.
I can't believe how far we've pulled Kate into the anarchy position already.
No. You have to.
I just got
these
one
have
thing
been
to say
my points for a very long time. Do not conflate. So from the beginning, when I started looking at this, my objection with a lot of the audits that I would watch was never like, "Hey guys, the police aren't that bad." I understand, that there is a certain amount of government overreach and there's a certain amount of police misconduct that occurs and corruption and all that. I know it pretty well. I always have. It was the human decency piece that I disagreed with, again, because and I mean, yeah, you look at a cop and you see the uniform only, and you immediately make assumptions. And you may or may not be right. I'd say you have a 50-50. 50-50 is probably kind of generous. You probably have a 30-70 in my opinion, as to what kind of person is wearing that uniform. I have said, and you can go back 3 years, I've literally said this a million times over, I do not see a police officer that different than a Dunkin' Donuts employee or a librarian or a mechanic. It's a job, right? Like, I'm not going to presume what kind of person someone is simply because of the job that they work. And so I don't think that it's fair or appropriate. It upsets me, again, like I said, to watch people use these cameras and use the social media clout to essentially put other people in a position where their own personal power is diminished just because you can. As I've watched a little bit more and sort of gotten to know more people in the auditing community and listened to people's stories and gotten more perspective, I understand the appeal of turning that back around on the government through law enforcement. However, I personally feel that it should not be forgotten that is still a human being, a fellow human being wearing that uniform.
Yeah.
Okay,
but
can I
let
just
me
say one thing and then I'm dropping? That's all. I just want to say one thing. I see somebody in the comments say, I'm Andrew's ex-girlfriend. Yes, I am Andrew's ex-girlfriend. And yes, he has the prettiest dick in all of the YouTube lands.
Oh my goodness. I think we've heard enough out of you.
Andrew's dick is prettier than my current boyfriend Chille's. Yes, and it's much larger than my current boyfriend's Chille's.
All right, I gotta go. Y'all have a good night.
Okay, have a good night. Bye.
Bye.
So Kate, I just wanted to say, when you see a Dunkin' Donuts guy driving behind you, you don't get sweaty and nervous. All these people have something different than a cop when he's got dominion over you. And I think that's where we come from, is that, we don't respect them when they enforce, their power on us, and they ruin our day and they stop us from our progress, and they can do that and we have no recourse whatsoever. That's our problem.
Yeah, I mean, I can see that. I've gotten some cops behind me, and I don't really tend to get that sweaty, and they don't always ruin. And like, trust me, like I've been arrested before. I've definitely, yeah, I've definitely been. I have some interesting stories about, me getting arrested.
Oh shit.
Yeah. My favorite one is one time, I was drunk and I had gotten into an altercation with a partner of mine, and I was the one who ended up being arrested, and I was taken down to Ash Street Jail in New Bedford, which is like the oldest jail in the state, which is important to the story. That's why I'm saying it. So Ash Street, they will take co-ed like overnight, sort of like, if you're getting arrested overnight, and kind of hold you, but they have some people waiting for trial that hold on just a second. What, Teresa?
Did Josh leave?
Yeah, Josh dropped off,
She says
unfortunately.
what to her daughter?
You can use the one in my bedroom and watch it in my bedroom, but you're not moving the living room at 11:30 at night. Dear Lord, child. Sorry. Okay. I didn't really want to tell the story in front of kids too. There they go. All right. Not the best role model here, but anyway, so I'm in Ash Street, and it's co-ed if they take you in overnight, but it's usually men that they're holding like pre-trial. So not a lot of females in and out there all the time. So I go down there as a female, and of course they're all yelling at me and catcalling or whatever else, and I'm pissed off, and I'm still a little drunk, and I'm like yelling back and being smart ass, and say that to me when I'm out of here, right? So I'm sitting in the cell, and I'm really pissed off.
Cash me outside.
Yeah, exactly. I'm mouthy. Always happen. So I keep hearing bang, 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 bang in the walls. And I think that these assholes are banging on the wall. So every time I hear bang, 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 I'm screaming at the top of my lungs, bang on that wall right now and just wait till I bang on you when I get out of here. Shit like that, right? So this goes on for a good 40 minutes. It's ridiculous, right? And finally one of the COs comes up and he's like, hey, why are you yelling? And I'm like, they want to be smart with me because I'm a female. Like, this is bullshit. And he's like, listen, so what you're yelling at right now is the heating system. And this is the oldest jail in Massachusetts. So you're going to be hearing that, and it's going to be a long night. Like, shut the fuck up, lady. Right. So I just want to make it clear anyway that I am not like some sort of like subservient, always respect everybody, around me, lick the boot type of person. I've definitely, seen the business end of a cell once in a while. And, luckily I always bail out on PR. I don't have any convictions on my record. And I, eventually smartened up and stopped doing things like getting into drunken fights with loved ones or
Pulled an Amber Heard, huh? Beat your boyfriend and then shit the bed, huh?
No, honestly, in that position, I think what I was so mad about is that I was actually defending myself, but that's like a whole different thing. And I guess I could hate the cops for that, but the fact of the matter is that that's the way the laws work. So it is what it is. But somebody's got to go, right? It's whoever calls first.
Kate, do you think you would have benefited more from a rage room on a double-decker bus that you could have taken advantage of?
No.
Kate's been on the double-decker buses.
Kate, are you releasing audio tonight? Is that correct?
Yeah. I think I'm just gonna throw it up on the channel. It's the first one anyway, the ex parte.
I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah. No, it's because I don't have the other one too. I was a little bit remiss, obviously, because I didn't want to burn Abrams with the fact that I had that, and I also was like, I mean, it was not. I will be completely transparent in this audio that I have was not procured through the legal channels because Chille did record that hearing, which in Massachusetts is a no-no. And so I was a little bit concerned. I try to stay on the right side of the law as best I can. I didn't want to open up any avenues for dissemination or anything like that. But technically, it's not a wiretap issue. It's a contempt of court issue. And I'm not the one that recorded it. And he's already disseminated it to the high hells anyway, to a bunch of people. So it doesn't really matter at this point.
Well, then honestly,
go ahead,
screw
James.
those rules. Honestly, screw those rules. These courts aren't supposed to be secret. And, a lot of times they don't even record them with audio or video. And so all you get is transcripts. And if you do record it yourself and compare it to the transcript, it often doesn't even come close to matching. So, I mean, you know what? When Chille's right, he's right. And I get it. The rules of the court, they don't record. Always record if you can get away with it. That's not legal advice or personal advice. You're going to jail if you get caught, but...
Well, not necessarily, because I've seen it I think that at the end of the day, you can record the courts in Massachusetts anyway if you go through the proper channels, and there's a little bit of extra red tape and it's a pain in the ass. But if I want to do something bad enough, then, fuck it. I guess I'll just go through and do the red tape. At my age, at my point in my life, for me personally, I have shit that I do not want to jeopardize. I have a career. I have children. Despite the rumors, I do actually have children that I care about very much, and I don't want to jeopardize anything with that. And unfortunately, again, I know, not necessarily from personal experience, but, enough so, through knowing other people, through some of my other experiences, you get caught up in one sort of prong of the government, and it can be a nasty downward slide getting, wrapped up in other agencies and bullshit that I just don't want to deal with. So, I mean, yeah, I think that what Chille did there was, I guess I feel like it was dumb, particularly because you have to understand in Massachusetts, it takes 5 minutes and $10, and you can apply to waive that fee if you really don't have the $10 to pull the full recorded audio from your hearing. That's all it takes. It's not a big deal.
but you know what? Right is right and wrong is wrong, and you shouldn't have to do that. You should be able to. I mean, they talk about not being allowed to record because of contempt of court because it may be disruptive. Look, I understand that. If you've got like 10 different people in there trying to set up 10 different camera tripods, everybody holding their phone up. I get that there are some things that can be disruptive, but they take it way too far to the point where it really is that they're trying to hide what's going on in these courts most of the time. And you shouldn't have to pay $10 to get a recording when you can make your own recording for free. It's the same thing as body cam footage too, why should I have to buy your body cam footage? Why can't I just make my own recording?
I record everyone. My lawyer has actually asked me, did you record that? So that they can get the orders written properly sometimes. So, I mean, you don't have to broadcast it to everyone in the courtroom that you're doing it, but, and you also have the lawyer client privilege, but I mean, there shouldn't be a barrier, to entry there when you have a microphone right there on your phone.
Particularly the third party to something I'm not party to. I would just prefer anyway to pull the official court audio because I have enough faith in public records to a point. That I know that it's going to the integrity of the hearing is going to be preserved. I've seen just as much as we want to say that police will chop this up, lie that people on YouTube do more often. Like, let's just be real.
Mhm.
And I'm really cautious in making sure that when I'm putting out information about other people that it is accurate and truthful. It's a tough line to put because I'm a troll too. So sometimes I'll put information out about myself or something that is purposeful disinformation. I would be lying if I said that I didn't do that. But the line in the sand that I draw is if I'm talking about somebody and profiling them and then deep diving or whatever else, I'm painstaking and making sure that I am accurate. And in the case of inaccuracies, which thank God, so far they're not that frequent over here, but when they are, I correct them immediately and profusely, and really like to make sure that we're being honest here. So I like public records because I know that they're not people will lie to advance their positions. Records a little bit more reliable. It's only a piece of the puzzle, right? You got to put everything together and you kind of get as close to the truth as you can with that. But I prefer pulling official court audio when I can.
Well, wouldn't it be fair enough though that the court records and also we get to record and then you can put them up against each other? Then you have this hearing today. Chille records it. Maybe he puts up an edited version. You also have your own version to put up. I mean, everybody should be able to make their own records, I think. And I think your argument is fair enough that you personally trust the government's records more than my records or Chille's, and I think that's fair enough. I'd chopped the shit out of some stuff before.
Right. And you just again sort of I try to be as I said this to the judge today too, and I was trying to explain the purpose of this channel, which is very difficult for me to do because I just don't always know. We're just kind of going here, but I find people that I find to be interesting, usually that I feel are developing some sort of power on the internet that I feel like is being used in a negative or self-serving way. I try to understand and profile the person to the best of my ability, put that information out there, and at least it's there, and people can make a determination, whether they want to buy the rhetoric and spend the money or not, right? That's I think mostly the purpose. Sometimes it's just because it's fucking hilarious when Cyrax flashes his dick in front of 800 people. Sometimes it's because we got nothing better to do but sit here and bullshit, right? But that's what I try to do, and I know public records to me is part of that. It's not the whole thing. I just think it's funny that you guys are caught up now in this whole I heard earlier on Abrams' panel, Freeman and Lackluster. They're oh, we've never done this really. We don't speak out about other people because I've been in this position for a year now where this group forms these fucking watchdogs. Cunts, right? And I start speaking out against these watchdogs, which previously there was a loose alignment. I guess we talked about some of the same people. We had similar, I guess, stances on some things, and I've decided that a lot of them I think are worse than any auditor I've ever seen, and the devastation from some of my subscribers and the same things that they're saying now. You guys got to work together. Don't be divided. I hate all this infighting. No, fuck that. Fuck that. You don't get to just decide because we have similar ideologies, maybe as far as what's put into public, that we're on the same team, you guys. Be a fucking free thinker. Jesus Christ.
Absolutely. I have a question for James and Ryan regarding the recording. Most of your cases, I agree that it's ludicrous. You can't record them. But where do you draw the line protecting witnesses, victims, jurors, stuff like that?
And that's why I said that I understand that there should be certain rules. And even when media is allowed into a courtroom, like let's say in the Johnny Depp case or any other case like that, usually they allow one camera in and they set it up so that they're not recording the jurors and so that they do protect things that need to be protected. And then they're supposed to share that footage with everybody. So, I'm not against reasonable rules to protect what needs to be protected, but in almost every instance that I've personally been involved in where they've been trying to keep the camera out of the courtroom, it had nothing to do with that.
Right. And I agree with you on that.
And that's what I was going to say. The same thing is that, we had full blown access to the Depp trial, but we couldn't see, what's his name from the island? The guy that didn't kill himself.
Oh, Epstein's, what's her name?
We couldn't see any of that.
Well, I can tell you that, I'm guessing anyway here, but I would surmise that part of Epstein's trial would be the nature of it. Are you guys familiar? This is a very old case, and it's local to Massachusetts. I believe it's from 1985. Don't quote me on that. Somewhere between 82 and 85. It's her name was Cheryl Arujo. It was the rape at Big Dan's Tavern. Are you familiar with this? Is that nobody?
No.
Maybe. Okay.
No.
So this is a really good example of why, maybe sometimes allowing open access to court hearings can be extremely damaging. So sometime in the wintertime, this woman, Cheryl Arujo, single mom, lives in New Bedford. She puts her kids to sleep and she walks over to this tavern at the time, downtown New Bedford, called Big Dan's Tavern to buy cigarettes from their vending machine. And it's kind of unclear how long she was at the bar. It doesn't sound like she was there very long before she gets approached. I think she grabbed a drink, maybe was socializing with a waitress, and she gets approached by some men that were playing pool. And when she goes to kind of put her, the drink down and leave, she gets attacked at the bar, and she's gang raped by a group of men at the bar with, people watching. It was a really horrific thing that happened.
Was that the Jodie Foster movie? The Accused?
I don't know if they made a movie about this. I don't know.
It's just like there was one called The Accused, I think it was, Jodie Foster, where she was gang raped in a bar on a pinball machine with a bunch of people watching, and then everyone watching was
arrested. It could have been loosely based on it. It was just a really horrific case. Again, the reports kind of differ about how many there were spectators that were jeering allegedly at her. She finally manages to fight them off and essentially runs half naked out onto the street, all disheveled and beat up. And there's one patron, I think, that tried to call the police, and that was about it. And she runs out, and I think it was a few college students drove by and drove her, picked her up and drove her to the hospital, right? So I believe it was 5 or 6 men. And I'm sorry, this is like off my memory, so the details may be a little bit inaccurate, but there are 5 or 6 men that ended up getting charged for this. They were all Portuguese immigrants, which is a big thing in New Bedford. A lot of Portuguese come in there. That is important to what happens next. And because it was so horrific, it becomes a highly televised trial. And I mean, cameras in there every day, including her testimony. So particularly because there were Portuguese immigrants that were, accused in this case, and there was a large Portuguese immigrant community. The community essentially splits, but this woman gets absolutely just smeared, and every single intimate detail of this attack is televised everywhere. Everyone's talking about it. It's on the radio. She's getting threats. People are upset. They think she's portraying the Portuguese community in a negative light, even though Arujo, that's a Portuguese name. You've got other people that are kind of getting racist over the Portuguese with this, and this is all going on highly publicly. The men were convicted in the end, and this woman lived a very tortured life for a brief while after the trial. And then I can't remember if she committed suicide or died drinking and driving, but she just lived a very, it was a horrible thing that happened because this was not only tried in court, it was tried in the media, right? So I think that the courts have to balance that. They have to, right? You do want transparency. You want to know what's going on in the court system. But I mean, not every court case is your run-of-the-mill DUI or, traffic ticket or even a simple assault. Some of these things are highly personal and highly traumatic. And I do believe that if the courts and the government and the police have any real charge, it is to protect the victims above all else.
And I agree with you. I was just saying that, when you are a party to the case, you should have every right. That, I guess that's where my line.
So I'm a defendant in a rape case, and I really want to either intimidate my victim, or I want to embarrass her or discredit her or dissuade her. So I decide that I'm going to record her testimony, and I throw it up on YouTube.
So
I mean, I don't think
that's re-victimizing the victim.
Yeah. I do believe that.
Oh, okay. I see what you.
Yeah, I was about to say, James, really?
I
mean, I know you. I don't see eye to eye on a lot of things. But I'm like, fuck, bro. And what the fuck is what's your point?
Yeah, I had that flipped. I thought you were shit. Never mind.
and again, that under my opinion, I guess I think James is somewhat on board with me. That would be where, you could say damages were done to you, publicly. I guess so. That would be a separate case, that should be.
But why
allowed,
why make a rape victim go through a civil case because
No,
the audio
I
got
think
out?
I apologize. I'm not trying to speak for Ryan and James. I think what they're saying is they agree in the situation that no, recordings should not be recorded by a civilian necessarily to be broadcast on YouTube or Discord or wherever you want to do it.
If it does harm,
right.
that's what we always kind of, advocate is if you're not hurting someone else, then, we're going to leave you alone.
But what would the court deem as causing harm? What would
That's going to be a tough one.
be?
Yeah.
That's really going to be a very, very tough balance to create properly.
The court can't outline what is going to cause someone who's been through trauma more trauma.
Well, no, I mean, about a year and a half ago, there was a huge kerfuffle on our side of the world where News Now Omaha recorded a rape victim in the back of an ambulance. Where, as auditors, and then this again, we asked a lot of auditors this: where is the line drawn between humanity and trying to get your rights defended? I think it's the same thing the courts have to do with rape victims in that situation. Where you have to draw the line as far as what is considered First Amendment protection and protecting the victim as well. And I agree with Kate on that.
And also, sorry.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
I was just going to say also protecting the overall integrity of the case. I mean, the reality is that trial by media, and in this age, trial by social media, are a thing. You can push a public conclusion before a trial is even over that can potentially affect the outcome or potentially harm someone far worse than they've already been harmed.
Well, the jurors aren't supposed to be watching that. So, they're not supposed to have any idea. Even though all of us may know what's going on, the jury is only supposed to be zoned in on what's being shown in the courtroom at the time.
Correct. However, pre-jury selection, even with voir dire, there's always going to be the chance that you have one or two people who have been exposed to it. And, there's always the chance that even though they may not, realize they've adapted or absorbed the bias, the overwhelming continuous pounding of an opinion via mass media or via social media, if they've been exposed to it, can be planted. So
yes,
you're
that's
correct.
That's why statism exists. You're right.
And to that point, when News Now is filming that in public, I don't want to see the rest of the public have their rights taken away filming in public because he did something stupid. I'd rather him go through a case of, having to sort something out with that victim that he, actually.
Yeah, I think a lot of this, like, it's easy to kind of point out the issues. I mean, on both sides of this particular issue, it's harder to come up with solutions. I don't know. I do believe in transparency, in the just in government in general, right? Like, to me, I'm a public records enthusiast. Like, and it's not always just some rando's criminal record. I do take interest in all sorts of public records that are available, and I am somebody who absolutely 100% will sue and has sued an AG's office to make sure that I get them, right? Like, my right 100%. I also understand that you have to weigh some things that are sensitive, right, about these things too, and that privacy, and is paramount as well in some cases. It's I'm just going to take sorry.
I think I just don't want the government in that particular case where I didn't even know about it before. I think you said News Now Omaha was recording a rape victim in the back of an ambulance. Is that what you said?
I don't remember who it was. It was
it was Floyd. It was in Ohio with Josh and cameras of mass destruction.
And in that case, I would say that really sucks. But I also wouldn't want the government to start saying, "Oh, well, you can no longer record victims in public." Personally, I think it's horrible. I wouldn't do it. But I would do it this way. I mean,
I feel like the government shouldn't have to tell you that. Like, I mean,
you know what? But you're always going to have people like News Now Omaha. So what can we do to fix it without the government, using force? The EMS workers should have given her privacy, should have made sure that she had privacy, whether it's holding up a blanket or a sheet or whatever. And it sucks that they have to do that. It really does, Kate. I'm not saying in any way that I'm for him doing this, but I'm saying that there's a way other than at the barrel of a gun to solve these problems.
I don't disagree.
I would be covering her up.
They do it for dead bodies, yeah.
I don't disagree with that. I don't think I've ever advocated. I mean, I am very outspoken. Women's shelters, rape victims, victims of crimes in police stations to a certain extent, particularly when they're giving out information in the lobby. I will say that is shitty. I don't think I've ever advocated for like that person should be arrested for that or that should be illegal. I think that it goes without saying that you probably shouldn't do. I mean, and if you do, don't put it on fucking YouTube. But at the same time, I believe that that's where honestly, like, these communities that kind of consume this content and create this content and observe this content or comment on it, it can self-regulate. I mean, that's sort of why I do get up in public and say, like, that was a terrible thing to do and I'm going to shit on you for it, right? Is so that again, like, you can agree or disagree with me, but at least somebody's saying it. At least there's a little bit of a check and balance system there.
Let me give you another example of somebody recording a victim. I don't remember exactly where it was, but you guys may remember the case because it did get pretty big.
Don't bring my mother into this.
It was Ryan Youngblood's mother.
Damn.
No, there was a young black woman who had been beaten by a few people in the neighborhood. I think it was a handful of young men, beat the shit out of this young black woman. Somebody called the police. The police showed up, and this guy, she's a victim now, right? Well, the police showed up, and somebody happened to be recording her. She's a victim. Well, it turned out the cop ended up beating the shit out of her too and dragging her around and slapping her around by her hair when he got there. So personal, I'll just tell you what I do personally, Kate, when I'm out. If I'm live streaming, I am very careful about what I record. And even if I am recording something that, I'm skeptical about, I'm far enough back that you're not really going to be able to make anything out. If I'm not live streaming, I record everything. Okay. I can go back and edit things out later if I need to. But you can't get that footage of that cop beating the shit out of a victim. You can't go back and record it if you had decided to point the camera the other direction.
I don't disagree with that, and I think one distinction that I've made a lot when I kind of speak on this is not so much. I've never really had an issue with the recording in and of itself. I don't believe that everything that I've seen on a lot of auditor channels, especially with the live streams, like, is it newsworthy, right? Like, you can record lots of things. I mean, you probably should record lots of things. I don't think that you should not record the police. I think that, there are many instances when you definitely should record the police. I think that every time that you get a police department that takes gets body worn cameras, that is a positive. And then I hope that in the future we can push for more transparency with the footage, right? It's a pain in the ass depending on what state you're in, pulling that footage. Ohio's great for it. Massachusetts, for instance, not so much. But I don't think that everything that is recorded, particularly if you have a lot of citizens and civilians in there, has to be uploaded to YouTube. And another issue that I take with this is privacy. At one point, you could walk down the street without this growing voyeuristic surveillance state nightmare. When people complain about the government surveilling or tracking them, I just kind of chuckle to myself a lot of the time, because every time that you're out here standing in front of somebody's fucking business or going to a post office or a library and recording everyone that you see and uploading that immediately to YouTube, and like you are assisting. You are assisting this growing surveillance state. Fucking stop it. Do you think that this is not accessible and logged somewhere? Do you think that there is not AI and algorithms that are being developed? I mean, Facebook was very early on, developing facial recognition. They play it off like, oh, it's so you can find yourself in other people's videos and like, fuck that. No, that's facial recognition that you're voluntarily signing up for. You don't think Google and YouTube and everything else is right behind them with that? Don't do that. Don't allow tech companies and the government to just go ahead and survey everybody and willingly give that up. Like, there's some instances when this footage is important. It should be out there. It's not every day.
Yeah, but they gave me a free email address.
Right.
And I mean, auditors, I mean, I will give some auditors like yourself, James, and I don't know Ryan, unfortunately, but you do self-regulate yourself. But except for every one of you, we can point out 4 others who don't. Look at the furry potatoes. Some person's eating dinner on their front porch, and she's standing there, call it what you want, harassing them. You have the Glenn Serios, who is calling some black officer every N-word he can think of because Glenn waddled into a crime scene. You know, I think I agree. I think if you guys patrolled yourself and controlled yourself, everyone, you know, would be a different story. Unfortunately, it's not that way.
I think though that the audience somewhat regulates that. People who do, you know, I've seen a lot of people trying to make YouTube channels like this that just, you know, they're not getting the views. They're falling on their face after they do stuff like that, because I think the audience regulates it. The audience says, wow, that was fucked up. And they start losing the viewers that they were looking for.
Never underestimate the depravity locked within the human soul. I have watched furry potato streams where there are 2,000 people watching, cheering on for Spice Week, where this woman is wandering around, you know, getting into verbal altercations with literally little old ladies, pepper spraying them in the face because they take a step towards her, you know. And people
Isn't that in California though?
Yes.
Well, California is done for anyways. Is that really even a place?
Oh my God, I've heard that too many times.
Fruits and nuts.
Yeah.
No, but going to what Kate said, there was another day where, again, I'm not sure what your stance is on furry potato. We've made ours very clear, where this lady's putting her dog to sleep, and it's in the heat of COVID, and she has to hand her dog off to the veterinarian. She can't go inside the veterinarian's office, and you have an auditor out there harassing this lady and making disparaging comments to the lady on and off camera. And it's just, there's a fine line, and those are usually the ones we go after the most. At least I've gone after the most with Kate.
And I just want to jump on one thing James said, being somebody who's been a licensed EMT since I was 16 years old. You know, stopping to take the time to create privacy for a patient in a scene out in public is the lowest priority compared to caring for the mental and physical well-being of that patient in that moment. It is not something that should be an immediate concern of the EMS crew compared to the mental and physical well-being of someone who has been physically harmed and traumatized.
I wouldn't disagree with you.
It's part of the package, I would think.
Yeah, what is the other option, though? The other option is to make it illegal for him to do what he's doing. And anytime you make something illegal, you are saying, I'm okay with the government forcing this on people at the barrel of a gun if necessary, right? I mean, first we're going to try to get voluntary compliance. Hey, man, please don't do that. Then a citation, or, you know, in the end, anytime we're asking government to make a law, we're saying, I'm okay with government executing someone for failing to obey this law. So, dude, I mean, Matt, I really do get it. And I don't think I can stress enough, I'm not okay with people doing that. But unfortunately, you know, times are changing, things are changing, and we're going to have to change with it. It's the same in any other profession. I mean, at the point, though, where you realize that he's recording, I would think, I don't know. You guys have blankets, right?
Like, the fundamentals of like kind of your civil liberties, and I can look at this from you know, more stuff that I'm open with is probably too fucking personal, but you know, as a victim of domestic violence and all that comes with it, I've had an extensive experience with the mental health system. I have a child who also has been through there. So when you look at sort of your rights as a patient, right, particularly around mental health, you're constantly there's a charge to have you in the least restrictive setting, right? And I think that the same can apply to laws, where there is a certain degree of, I believe that, you know, and James and I will never agree on this, but I believe to a certain extent, a lot of laws that we have at least start with the intention of, you know, protection or enriching, and it doesn't always work out that way. But I believe that that's the intention, right? And so
I think the intentions are almost always good.
Like the road to hell.
You have to balance at some point, you know, protection versus liberty, right? And so at some point, yes, I mean, I can understand the visceral reaction of being like, it should be illegal to record a rape victim, but that is a very hard and fast line in the sand that can go very sideways quickly. So unfortunately, I mean, it's as simple as perhaps ambulances need some sort of mechanism to quickly and efficiently create privacy if need be.
Yeah.
Well, along what Matt was saying though, that's the last. They're not even like in Floyd's case. They weren't looking outside. They had no idea what was going on. They're taking care of the victim.
Okay.
And I mean, should vans have no windows in them? Well, then how do they see? Backing up, changing lanes, stuff like that. More cameras on the vans, I guess. I mean, I guess James and Ryan also. Do you see some of the actions that auditors are taking, making new laws and stuff that you don't agree with?
I think you
give me an
assume that I
example.
consume this type of content. Until recently, when I started sharing other people's videos, I never consumed this type of content. I only created it.
Does it change? Has it changed your perspective at all?
Yeah, it has. It's why I'm on shows like this, and it's why I'm, saying things about Chille, because now that I've started watching other stuff, I'm like, fuck, man. I mean, I'm 100% for everyone's individual rights, and I don't care if it's me or a cop or Kate or Chille that's stomping on your individual rights. That's what I'm against. I've always gone after police and government rather than private individuals, just because typically they're not held accountable like you and I are. For the most part, if Chille beats Kate, most of the time he's going to be held accountable for it, whereas a cop would not.
He did beat me, just so we're clear.
Yeah, I know.
Everybody keeps saying beat up, and I'm kind of annoyed too that like people are really hitting the rhetoric with, he put his hands on a woman. Like really, honestly, like come on. It doesn't really matter the gender aspect here, right? Like
I said if he beat Kate.
Yeah.
Well, honestly,
I'm just hearing it a lot, and like it kind of like I just don't like alarmism very much. It's something that I find is kind of prevalent around this part of YouTube on both sides of the coin. It annoys me because I think that we have a charge to be rational human beings, and like the internet does not help with that. The tech companies are not setting it up because they want that. They don't want that. But I mean, I think that gives us more of a duty to try to be rational, and like we cannot be alarmist. So I've heard a lot of people he battered a woman, he's a woman beater. He didn't, I mean, by the legal definition, was that assault and battery? Yeah, it was. He got in my personal space, he threatened me, that would be battery, and he actually went hands on, that's assault, right? Or is it the other way around?
No, I was just using that as a hypothetical. I was just saying if Chille were to beat Kate, typically because he's a private citizen, he'd be held accountable, whereas if a cop did it, he likely wouldn't. I wasn't saying that did happen. It was a hypothetical in this situation.
Sorry, I don't know. I've just been listening to it for like 2 weeks now. And
I guess I'll say if Chille beat Matt, he would like,
and it would still be wrong, even though Matt's a dude. Like.
And don't get me wrong, there were several.
Kate knows what I look like now, so she'll testify. Good luck with that, midget.
There were several of us behind the scenes pushing for Kate to push charges, just to teach Chille a lesson, quite honestly.
Won't do it.
Yeah, she would not do it.
And to be fair, and I told Kate this today, I'd be more afraid of Kate with a handbag than Chille with a baseball bat. So
it's not about that though. Kate was not hurt by any means, and I know that.
Right.
I've known Kate
not at all.
Right. It's the principle of it. Like I said, and James has made it very clear. Had that been a cop done that to somebody else, their side of the world would have exploded.
Absolutely. And we all would have known, hey, it's not that bad. He's got no bruises, got no marks. He's not physically injured. It's just that you don't do that. You don't touch people.
Right.
I think
that
goes to just real quick. I think the crux of the discussion comes down to the fact that, at least in my opinion, that we as a society have sort of lost the plot in the idea of doing the morally right thing. Like, we want to protect our rights, but at the same time, there are some people or sometimes people just do things without thinking, is it the right thing to do? Is it something I should do? And I just would like to see us get back to that. The personal responsibility of, this is kind of a shitty thing to do. I'm not going to do it.
Well, I mean, sometimes, I don't know. Sometimes
I think that's fair enough, Matt, because when I first started making videos like what I'm making, believe it or not, I would not normally go out and just poke and prod at anyone, cop, government official. Like, it's just not, I mean, you want to start shit, you're going to get shit, right? But it was to the point though, where for me, I was being violated on such a regular basis on such petty little shit all the time, constantly having the government breathe down my neck, that I said, you know what? How do you like it? If I constantly come around and poke and prod and, hey, man, you did this, you did that, constantly pointing out the little legislation that they violated. So I would agree, Matt. It's pretty petty to go around doing some of the things that we do.
But were they looking up your butt?
I don't think so. I mean,
but I would say that it's petty that the government has constantly gone around doing the things that they've done to me and my family, where we haven't harmed anybody.
I don't necessarily think it's petty when you're, filming your own interaction with the police on a traffic stop or something, or you see a police officer on the street and you walk up to them and try to ask them questions that, you truly want to know about, or get their opinion on the status of things. But I think, again, there should be a point where you ask yourself, is this the right thing to do? If you're trying to confront a bunch of cops when there's a dead body laying in the middle of the street and a mother crying, which is something personal to me, having family who are cops in Chicago in a literal war zone. It's just kind of like there's a point where it's like, okay, I'm just human being to human being. This is not okay.
Well, okay,
yeah, but I mean,
now,
I don't know. I think that it's just gone beyond. Like for me, it's like, of course, there's like the moral aspect. Although I'm probably not qualified to be the moral arbitrator of anything, because I'm quite flexible in that area. But it's just I think it's gone beyond the point where what's the impact here? It's just becoming hate porn for people that don't like cops, which to a certain extent, when it's why I kind of got off the auditor thing after a while, because it became like, we're starting to produce hate porn for people that don't like fucking auditors. Like, it's just like, what's the point? There's nothing.
I can understand, Kate. I can totally understand people seeing it that way. What I see is when we're out there, we're just holding them accountable. And yes, there are extreme cases, just like anything. Everything has extreme cases. But when we're out there watching, I would rather have 5 people out there filming if there's one cop there, because you never know what that cop's going to do. He has all the power in that situation. He has all the power, so there's no checks and balances. There's no one protecting you from him. He can, or she can, do whatever they want, and they can say whatever they want to, steer the narrative. That's the scary part for a lot of us.
Right.
So when
What's
we
your
have
channel
people out
name?
there filming, it makes at least a little bit better of a situation where we don't feel like we're just going to be, completely trampled on.
Ryan, what's your channel name? I've never heard of you before, buddy.
Oh, I don't have a channel.
Oh, okay.
I keep getting requests, and then maybe I'll start one up. But
no, I thought you had a channel like James does and stuff like that. Like I said, I just never had.
No, I'm just here to ride James's coattails.
I just want to drop the link for John Hanzo. John Hanzo, shout out to John Hanzo. It's one of our top commenters. He fucking hates me. Because he's been really like, I would invite you to just, come say the shit on panel. Because you really blow up my comments with this shit. The controversy in the chat right now is that apparently I'm transphobic because I believe what I said was that Furry Potato has bigger balls than Chille. I might have said pun intended, and I don't consider that to be transphobic because Furry regularly talks about her penis. And in 2022,
her penis?
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
But that's just the world we live in now.
That was transphobic.
Agree with it or disagree with it, I don't care. I will always refer to her by her chosen pronoun. I don't care how many times people fucking shit on me. My own personal opinions don't really matter on the subject anyway, because it just doesn't, right? Like, it's just, again, that basic human respect that I feel all people are entitled to. But if you want to call me transphobic for that, like, I'm all right with that.
And anyone, please feel free to send any complaints or harassment to me to James Freeman channel
gmail.com.
It's not a weak
excuse
defense.
me.
It just is my defense. I don't consider it to be that weak. I mean,
I can speak as a subject matter expert. Until us trans have had our male genitalia chopped off, we're still a male. Period. And I'm a trans.
Okay, I mean, there you go. I guess that's one
Matt,
person.
were you saying earlier that some auditors end up having laws created? I kind of ended up going off on a tangent.
Yeah,
I think, but
that's
I
what
think
I
that
wanted
was
to
what you
respond
asked.
to.
I think I didn't say that. I
I
don't
did.
think. But ultimately,
okay, it was your
I
honor?
think, yeah. But at the end of the day, I think the actions of some auditors probably do cause laws to be created in the same way that, Florida man causes laws to be created to protect people from their own stupidity. Someone's going to always push someone, a legislator or a representative, to do something. It's not necessarily the auditor's fault, but it's kind of how most laws come into being. Is somebody does something that is objectionable to somebody, and somebody with power reacts.
And I guess that's what I was going to ask you to clarify was, are you saying they make a law to try to stop the auditors from doing what they're doing, or they make a law saying, yeah, this auditor brought up a good point that we need to, like Turner, Turner.
Brandt has established some, I would say important case law, at least establishing your right to pass out, publications or materials outside of a courthouse about jury nullification, right? I think that the issue with, and we're working off the presumption again that laws are created to solve societal problems, is that in some cases we have auditors that kind of step over the line or piss off the communities that they're in, and therefore the kind of the reaction is that they are then trying to establish laws they perceive to be a problem. I don't see a lot of that sticking though.
No, I was about to say that Arizona did it about a year and a half ago with Bao, when Bao had that.
But I don't think that's stuck in Arizona.
No, it didn't.
Hey,
Repealed.
somebody in the chat said that James likes old prostitutes. Baby, come get me. I'm in a nursing home.
How old are you? See, James, you made a friend.
I'm 72 years old, and I got big triple F boobies.
Jesus
and
Christ.
a penis? And a
Zero.
penis?
So,
I'm there.
You guys haven't met my friend Sasha. I adore this bitch. She's been to my house. She regularly comes in and calls me and makes my kids laugh and everything. But she pretty much, her function in Masshole is that she has a little something to drink and comes on and sexually harasses. It's our own form of like frat hazing. Enjoy it.
Well, hey, don't stick up for James. He can defend himself.
There's only been two people that ran from me on YouTube, and one was the Beaver.
Yeah, Beaver.
And the other one was what's his fucking name?
Rolando Bass.
Yeah.
So Kate can confirm that those are actual F cuts.
I can confirm that. I've seen Sasha's titties; they're huge.
Yes,
my goodness.
they're,
James, what are you doing?
And a penis.
My titties are Thailand specials. I got my titties when they were on special in Thailand every time. They were $19.99 every time.
You know what? I would go out with Ryan or James or, just about any auditor in the world. I'd be less afraid of getting arrested than when I step out of the house with this bitch right here, honestly.
Yeah.
We all have friends like that.
That's why I love her. She's off the fucking chain.
Girl,
So
we got
saying,
drunk.
who me?
We got drunk at the very table you're sitting at, and I passed out at the table.
Yeah, excuse me. Like you got drunk. You got drunk. I had, I believe, 2 drinks in the afternoon, and I was done. Like you just were like, you were a fucking champ. I remember going to that Mexican food restaurant and like you.
Oh my God, I wanted that man so bad. I don't know why.
Oh my God, she had me leave her number on the receipt. Like she goes outside, I think to have a butt or something, and takes my son with her because my son was like done with the restaurant, whatever. So they're sitting outside or whatever. And it's me and this other girl that's stuck there. And she's like, you leave my number for the waiter. I was so embarrassed because like, I'm kind of a chunky, dumpy chick. Like I don't leave my number for waiters at restaurants, and not at my advanced age. And like the guy definitely probably thought it was mine. He came back and he was so weird, and I was like,
he never called me. I was so
because he probably thought it was my fucking number, Sasha. Oh my God, I couldn't look at anyone when I was leaving that restaurant. I was literally like nobody look at me. This guy just
look.
Up,
in all fairness,
it wasn't me.
In all fairness, bitch, we was in a plot together. I was just trying to collect the life insurance policy, and I split it with you.
So
I have to shout out these goddamn PayPals now because it's going to piss Chille off, and people deserve this recognition. So
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Money.
I
wouldn't mind
Well,
a couple
in
minutes
Chille's
if you give me a couple
defense,
minutes.
y'all know I'm Chille's new girlfriend.
So we heard.
So you can get upset at every single one that I'm about to read off. Okay. All right.
I'm gonna
Josh,
love every one of them because they're gonna go to my next plastic surgery, bitch.
I don't know what I'm gonna do with this money. Honestly, I didn't think this through. We'll think of something collectively fun to do with it because I'm like,
New jet.
yeah, no, something seriously like
No. We have a Masshole plane now.
We do.
Legitimately.
Yeah,
About new air
homeboy's
tanks
a
for-
pilot. He literally flew out to like support me in court today. I have the best subscribers in the world. Thank you guys for your financial contributions. Always appreciated. We'll find something fun to do with it. But thank you guys just for being you. I've made so many awesome friends here. I appreciate it, especially when like I get to meet subscribers in person. Thank God, knock on wood, nobody has killed me and made me into a skin suit that I've met online yet. I would love to keep that trend up. Thank you guys very much for not serial killing me. And thank you to Josh for $50 to piss off Fail Ranger DeCastro and his cronies. Thank you.
Can you hold on for 1 second?
I thought about it when I came in your house to put your charger in there, and you were still asleep.
Nice. Billy Lawrence came up, and we've never seen Billy before. Billy,
I'm
what do you
sorry,
have to say?
Billy. Oh, my bad.
It's okay. Billy,
Welcome,
going once, going twice. We're wrapping this up, Billy.
That
There
was
you
me.
go. Okay. What's up, buddy?
Hey guys, I'm just sitting here in Ironton. Kate knows who I am.
Yes, I do.
Anybody that's watched any of Chille's videos, I'm the Rick Roll guy.
I love you.
I love you.
You better stop
So,
friend off.
well, I won't have any more opportunities, unfortunately.
I know he's posting random from the internet today.
So I just have a couple observations, but the one thing I forget who was talking about the family coming in with the mental health thing is
Jenny.
the problem with Chille is with the DSM-5, you have to meet 5 of 8 criteria to be diagnosed with narcissism, and I can read, or actually 9.
5 of 9.
And I can read these.
Are you in
because
that
Chille
field,
meets all
Chille,
9?
or Rick, are you actually in that field, or?
Yes.
Okay.
So, real quick, grandiose sense of self-importance. Boom. Preoccupied with fantasies of unlimited success, power, brilliance.
Boom.
Believes that he or she is special and unique, and then can only be understood or be associated with special or high status people. Requires excessive admiration, sense of entitlement, is interpersonally exploitative, takes advantage of others to achieve his or own ends, right? Certainly meets that. Lacks empathy. The man has no feelings. He can't even turn. He's like, and it's interesting. I'll go back to the Amber Heard thing in a second. Is often envious of others or believes that others are envious of him. And number 9, shows arrogant, haughty behaviors or attitudes.
Yeah, that sounds like James.
The problem with narcissists, well, but the problem with narcissists is they're rarely curable because they don't think anything's wrong. And they won't, you can't get them, they will not volunteer because they think they're perfect. So it is very rare that the person would seek treatment on their own. And so then if you start mixing substance abuse in with that, which, just from me observing his behavior, I'm pretty sure, especially the way that he'll crash for a day or two. Or he'll crash for a whole day and just disappear, which indicates to me that he's overcoming something.
And to be clear, you're talking about watching his
But
videos, or are you talking about the interactions you had with him in Ironton?
Oh, my interactions with him in Ironton, he was volatile.
Was it just
Yeah.
that one night?
He
I do
lo-
remember seeing one video.
Oh no, he's taking pictures of my house.
Oh, so you guys
Yeah,
had a lot of
he's-
interaction.
More of it him directed towards me online, and then so
I was gonna say,
he
correct
got,
me if I'm wrong, but he made some pretty pointed accusations at you, didn't he?
Oh, he threatened to kill him.
Yeah, he was
Right.
scared. I do remember he was very scared when
he
you
threatened
rolled
to
up
kill.
on him.
I'm also the rapist, according to him.
Yeah.
I'm that same guy.
Correct me if I'm wrong,
So-
Billy, but if he ever does come back to Ironton, you got a present for him, don't you? Some paperwork?
I wouldn't discuss
Yes.
that. Okay, well.
Yeah,
it's up
we
to you.
don't need to do that.
Yeah.
Like, no.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, he's received just which cease and desist letter does carry
They-
weight,
they're
but
kind
he
of-
has read and received one.
I have two questions when you're ready, Kate.
I'm ready.
Did you make contact with him first, or were you? Because what we saw, and I'll tell you from our side, when I was actually still kind of following him a little bit, what we saw was that you were following him around, and he was getting pretty panicky. I mean, he definitely was scared. You could tell. You could tell. It was starting to get to him. Where he was getting nervous of people being around and always circling him. After that night that we saw him come up to your car and you played the Rickroll, did it escalate from there and intensify, and that's where he started following you and go to your house, or how did it go?
He came after the next day. He found my house and was outside taking pictures.
So he had someone run your plate and then found your address and then started coming back at you.
I'm not sure how he found it. Honestly,
Well, you didn't tell him your
it's
name or address, right? I mean, you didn't
No.
say, "Hey, I'm John. I'm over here."
No,
Yeah, that sounds kind of like stalking.
I think in
Yeah.
the video from the night of the Rickrolling, he got a license plate off of at least one of the cars that he thought was following him.
Yeah.
I can't remember
He
if
was
that was
freaking
yours
out.
or not.
Yeah. That's why I was asking if he must have found you somehow if you didn't offer your information to him.
Oh, it's a small town too. I mean, this town is only
Billy, he didn't go door to door and say, "Yep, you're the one. I saw your car." Or are you saying you think that he drove around and found your car?
no, but the town's no. I don't know how he did. I honestly don't know.
Well, keep in
But the
mind,
town's only
Maybe small
4 square
towns,
miles.
honestly, too. Like, somebody
Yeah.
sees you and they recognize you and they're good with Chille and they let you know, oh, that's so and so and he lives down on this street. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, he was asking his audience for who that was, and he got a clear picture of Billy's face.
Yeah. Yeah. So this town is very small, which is funny to me because, in a sense, he left. He had a little gold mine going on here, and on his few followers. But the other thing he did is he messed with a small town, which is really a big mistake. Because we typically rally around our own, period. So the majority of the people here just thought it was ridiculous, and that. But then when he blew off court and stuff, that was just stupid on his part. It was a freaking misdemeanor, and he was scared to face it.
Plus,
Well,
there
he
was
went after
literally
the-
no guarantee that his bond was even going to be revoked.
Right. And
Well,
what's ridiculous is he went after the judge. The judge had nothing to do with it. The motion was presented to the judge, and he scheduled a hearing. And
Yeah.
why he had such a hard on for that judge, I don't quite understand. Him being a law scholar, I just don't get that, even in my simple little mind.
Well, so he thinks it's all connected. So he already traced Waldo back to somehow. He thinks Waldo's involved with the rehab centers, and if you remember, when he started talking about drug arrest, he's saying these people don't need dungeons. Pardon me. They need help. But then he immediately flipped that to, wait a minute, we're incarcerating them if we put them through drug court and put them in rehabs. But Waldo has zero connection to any rehab facilities. It's just not.
One of his early videos, he was praising Waldo, saying what a great judge he was.
Until Waldo didn't rule in his favor. So he went
Right.
against him, which classic narcissistic behavior. He cut him off, which is what he's done. He did it to Josh today, right? Best friends with Josh. Josh like told the
Yep.
truth. Just told the truth. Didn't take a side. Just told the truth. And now Josh is shit, right?
He cut me off
And
too.
I
and
don't-
he used to
Sorry,
idolize me, and now I try to talk to him. I try to message him. I try to send him my thoughts and feelings every day, and he doesn't even respond anymore.
The
I
bromance is
know.
over.
I wanted to be his friend too. I'm sorry, guys. I do have to thank our sponsor here,
Yes.
Chille. And it really, because I'm playing my ass off now. So Joshua rather for $50 to piss off Fail Ranger, DeCastro, and his cronies. Thank you very much. Carol, $10. Thank you for making me laugh. Thank you
You
for
could highlight them, Kate.
No, I can't because these are PayPal.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Michael Bowman, Michael, sorry, for $5. I'm trying not to do last names because that's doxing or whatever.
Dox them. Dox them.
Right. I don't know. I don't want Chille going after and shooting all these people. That would be terrible. It would be a mass murder. Bruce for $25. Thank you. Madeline, my girl Madeline, a penny for my thoughts. It's literally a penny. Thank you, sweetie. I appreciate that. Jeffrey, $50. Chille Victory Fund. Thank you. Nick for $10. Screw you too, Chille, LMAO. Thank you. Shane for $25. Thank you. Judy for $10. You guys are the best. Again, I'm not even sure what we're gonna do with this money yet, but gonna be some fucked up troll, probably.
You should support my new channel that I haven't started yet.
Well,
I would anyway. I'll at least give it a view anyway. You'd be surprised what's on my subscription list. I watch a lot of weird shit.
I say we take it and do a Masshole bonfire get together, just live stream shit posting all night.
Yes.
Oh my god.
Let's
I should do on my backup channel. I should do an IRL stream one day. I probably people would lose what little respect they have for me.
It'd be boring as fuck.
My life is pretty boring. Yeah, it's a lot of laundry. I kind of did that when I was waiting for Chille to serve me that one day. It turned into kind of an IRL stream, and it was a lot of me sitting on my porch smoking butts. I think I smoked a few hits off a joint and got retarded. And then I did laundry. And then for the remainder of the stream, I was talking about my children and ordering them around or something. I don't know. It was very boring. My life is boring. And then when it's not boring, it's cringy because we go out and do some dumb shit sometimes.
Let's knock over mailboxes.
Yes.
No, nothing destructive, but definitely we have some stories. We go out and do some dumb things.
And your public service announcement for tonight. Remember to pick your laundry up off the bathroom floor, kids.
Yes.
Every time. Oh my God. Join our Discord and you too can listen to me 400 times a day while sitting in voice. Be like, I swear to God, pick up your laundry off the floor. What's the other one too is
Clean your room.
the dishwasher.
Billy, thanks for coming up, buddy. I didn't see you drop off.
Oh, thanks, really sorry.
I have a question before you drop, so let me know.
I was going to go over super chats and stuff, but go ahead, Ryan.
So I'll make it kind of brief. We had a great. I can't believe all this happened in 2 weeks. This is amazing that it's just 2 weeks ago and it just exploded like this. It seems like it was a month ago, but I'm going to say
it's been boiling for a while.
Well, and that's what I was going to say was now that this is over, James, is there any way, because I know you've been asked, and I'm going to ask you publicly in front of everyone, can you put up the video that we had 2 weeks ago where me and Kate were on your stream? Because everyone wants to see that. Everyone.
Yeah, I think Kate knows why I took that down. But
I don't. To be fair, so I know why you took it down, and I appreciate that you guys that. I don't care about that.
Cool.
Because my information is I Furry Potato and Brian Sessions put everything out down to I believe a map of where my children go to school, my social security number. So I'm I've been doxxed to the high heels and I just don't care.
The VIN number on your car.
Yeah, my VIN number, random ass shit. So I if my phone number gets out, frankly, it doesn't matter because if you just ask me for my phone number, strangers on the internet, I readily give it up to everyone.
Yeah.
I haven't gotten a lot of bullshit troll calls. If I do, I'll either block them or I'll just have to change my number. It's not going to I'm not going to be Chille and literally cry over it and try to ask for daddy government's protection. So
you talk to them.
And you're talking about when the private chat was shown on accident.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
I don't. Yes.
Mine was
I don't know how to run a stream.
I was like, oh shit, there's my number, but oh well, yeah.
Yeah, that's what you get when you join a stream that I'm hosting.
But I thought it was such a great conversation that night. I would really, even if you send it to me, I can edit it, James, but I think you can edit it just fine as well.
I don't think she cares.
By the way, I'd just like to point out that case information is splattered all over the internet, and Chille was too stupid to even call the right police department the other day.
Anyway, so KMB, thank you for becoming a new member. Let's see here. Doug, $20 for super sticker, buddy. Appreciate it. Let's see. The Age of Fabulous. Kate has kicked the jockstrap to the ground and stomped on it. Thank you for the $9.99. Kate is gangster. Let's see who else we got here. Chippy Peach. Good on you for being honest, Josh. I agree. I mean, so we've all had our differences, but Josh did the right thing and stepped up. Mark Swint. Was he crying because the judge didn't give you 20 years? Pretty much, Mark. Yeah, wait till you hear the audio. The fucking audio is epic.
Beautiful.
Team Skeptic, Kate, I chastise you in my live stream. Chille is physically and emotionally damaged. You should not be proud. You should buy 10 trifles to make up for hurting his feelings, not the free ones, the indestructible ones.
You're right. No, it's maybe that's what I'll do with the PayPal money.
Well, hey, we got to have the trial to see if they're actually indestructible. The three of us talked about that today.
Can you imagine if he placed an order for one of his shirts or one of his trifles, he would shit himself. That would be kind of funny, actually. I'm sorry. The Bio Explorer, Kate, did the trifle help you? No, it did not.
I needed one. I didn't have it.
Yes. Moorish Martian. That's awesome. Chille's vicariously self-pleasuring while saying, "From now on, I work alone." Yes.
Yeah.
Let's see. Trade wins. Need an aluminum foil hat. Yes, he does. Joshua Lee. It's simple. He lives in a van down by the river. Not even by the river. Truck stops. It makes you wonder what happens in truck stops.
Under an overpass in New York by a hotel.
Well, Castro's is sad today. Kate was too mean to my brother. We might stop.
Oh, no, don't stop. Lyle.
Don't stop. We're not bored
stop.
quite yet.
No.
Dutch Doyle, super sticker. Thanks, buddy. Dramadone, $5. Team Chille, trader. Yoda, Kate, I want to help fund the next 500 calls. We don't advocate that, Yoda.
Do not call him.
Yes.
I'm a spectacle, not a role model. Do not emulate anything that I do. You will ruin your life, and the whole internet will hate you if you act like me.
Absolutely. Keeping it criminal. Can we send Cyrex a jock sock? No, don't even.
Please don't bring up Cyrax's name in the context of Chille. I really am concerned that it's going to cause a merge there that I will not be able to overcome. I 100% do not want them to team up. They will.
No, but it could cripple us.
Okay.
Bipolar Express. I'm sorry, Bio Explorer. Chille Con Carne, $2. Thank you. I'm not saying you're bipolar. We appreciate you.
Bipolar Express. That's my next name on Discord, actually. I like
That's actually a pretty good one. Jeff, thanks for coming to member, buddy. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Nikki's happy little life. Deplatform, delete. Keep fighting the misinformation. $4.99.
We will literally never deplatform anyone. Thank you very much, Nikki. But that's just not.
Not
outside
cool,
of our
Nikki.
trade,
No, like I said, everyone's entitled to their opinions. Like whether we agree or not. Yoda, don't have a PayPal, but here's some more just to piss Chille and Vegas Valley douche breath off. Yeah, that guy's really upset with you. Valley Vegas News, whatever.
I just don't give up. Like, you know what? Honestly, Vegas Valley, like, I get it. It's fun to fight with me. I'm a little fucking busy right now. I don't like if you fucking threaten children.
Take a number.
If you come into my YouTube comments and continue to issue these bizarre fucking ultimatums to me, like you have any control over my life, what I do or what I say, then we can swing back around. I'm not really motivated to right now. I don't know who the fuck you are, but he
was doxing your work number. He says it was your work address. I'm pretty sure it was not your work address. Today in one of his streams.
Cool. That's never been done before. People
Right.
have fucking showed up at my work. Like, I'm telling you right now, I protect my job like I protect my family. Show up at my work. I'm going to call the police and trespass you off the property. It's private property. As soon as you turn off the main road, you can't get near my fucking office. Call my fucking job, and we will have a fucking issue that I will fucking sort out. Nobody wants to be bothered with your fucking bullshit. Do whatever you want online, like step over certain lines. And like I said, I'm not a fucking cop caller. I'm not a fucking snitch, but I will protect the things in my life that are important to me.
Well, what's funny is the address he was doxing tonight was actually for a strip mall or some bullshit. I'm like, that's not Kate's work.
No, I work at a strip mall. He's correct. I am.
Yeah, exactly.
I do.
that's
I
where she
work at a
works.
fucking strip mall. I work at a fucking nail salon. I don't want to tell you what I do in the back, but
well,
That's another guy we disavow too.
I'll tell you.
He's all proud about having him and his kid fighting with these people in the street, and his kid punches out this little kid, high school kid, and he's like, "Yeah, that's what you get." It's like you just assaulted a little kid. You just beat up a minor. You idiot.
He's made himself. We'd never heard of him until recently. He's made himself relevant to us for some reason.
I wish we didn't hear of him.
Yeah, so I mean, we'll get around. I'll get around to him. Me and Pat will.
There you go. There's your next project.
Yeah, exactly.
You do not want Kate to turn this car around, Vegas.
Exactly. See, Carl, go. I would like to buy 20-minute restraining order. I think Chille couldn't afford that. Joshua Lee. Speaking of, Kate, you want to develop an app?
I already have. Yeah, I can't show it to you, but
right. We've talked about it. Jackie Joe, $5. Thank you, Kate.
No, thank you, Jackie.
For Samuel Green, $5 for the weed.
Appreciate it.
Devil's lettuce.
Yep.
Trade wins, $5 again. Glad that never happens to police officers. Not sure what that's in reference to, but thank you for the $5 and thanks for joining us.
Yeah, that was probably something we should have gotten into context.
Yeah.
Yeah, my bad.
Ed 2276, $20 at last. A court has held that Kate is a troll. That is a legal ruling that will stand until appeals court overturns on holding Kate.
I still can't believe he said that.
That was my favorite. That was absolutely my favorite. I've never actually been, court determined to be a troll, but I'm really, I feel like it's the natural progression of things. Like,
I think Josh and I literally about died when he said that.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
Farad Edges, Australian $20. Have some money. This was funny as fuck. I have to pay the troll toll. Yes, you do, buddy.
Yeah.
Trade wins again, $5. You will probably slip on a banana peel instead of file an appeal. Could be. Stephen Mayer, my birthday was Wednesday, and this is a great way to celebrate. Oh, Stephen, thanks for celebrating with us, buddy.
Happy birthday, Stephen.
Yes.
Jesus.
Brainy Beaver, that fake Canadian money, $2. Thank you very much. His name was Bob.
He's talking about bitch tits. I remember that one. Yeah.
Okay.
From Fight Club. Yep.
Thank you very much, Brainy. Ed, again, 2276. Did Josh ever buy you the coffee he offered to buy you at the parade?
Oh, that's right.
Josh offered coffee?
No,
Called out.
honestly, because I fucking inconvenienced. I know he was like, listen, if you need a witness, I was there. I'll speak honestly, I'll come to court with you, no big deal. But I still felt like I was inconveniencing him because who wants to sit in court all day? So I bought him a coffee. I was literally the least I could do. I guess I bribed him for the testimony he didn't give.
At the parade, though, he did offer to stuff you in the trunk and buy you a coffee, I think.
With the dog, though. Yes.
With the dog. Well, that's where I belong.
Regarding the whole thing about Josh testifying for Kate. Now, granted, this is not the fucking Scopes trial. This is not a massive trial, but isn't right? If yes. Josh had pertinent information to testify against something, wouldn't we all advocate for that?
Yes.
Advocate for truth.
Well, in the case where there's a victim, yes. Now, if someone's being prosecuted for possession of marijuana, then no, fuck Josh. But yes, in a case where there's a victim and you're going to testify of the truth, absolutely, that's the right thing to do.
Absolutely. And like I said, Josh and I, tonight was the first time I've ever talked to Josh on panel with him. And I said, I give him a lot of props for what he standing up for. Like I said, what is right is right. So,
well, don't go too crazy because
Oh, I'm not. He's still a piece of shit. Let's see. Vera Lucia Campos, 20 ruples?
Ours.
I don't know. Kate, you're amazing. I agree with that.
No, it depends who you ask.
You are.
Depends.
No faith, $5. How does this all go by without someone noting that Kate is looking spectacular? I totally agree. She never believes.
Oh my god, guys! Listen,
100%.
I don't care that people insult. One of the best comments that I read on Josh's video today was somebody had quoted that I was like, I didn't come here to look pretty, and they were like, mission accomplished. That doesn't it's just honest.
That was pretty funny.
Don't feel bad for me. I don't really care how I look. If I did, then I would be putting makeup on all the time and shit. I just leave the house looking like a fucking slob because this is what matters to me, not so much this anymore. I'm too old.
Just get a pedicure and get those fucking talons.
But thank you, no, Kate. I'm sure that you look fabulous too, Jack.
Those tree climbers.
Those fucking tree climbers are.
I did get a pedicure over that because I was like, ooh, that was that was a little bit too over the line for me. I'm busy though. Sometimes I forget to clip my toenails.
I was talking to Kate backstage a couple weeks ago after that was said. I'm like, dude, I can see why Chille made him scared. That could have been a fucking weapon. You could have cut his Achilles heel with that real easy.
They weren't that bad. They weren't we're not talking they weren't curling under or anything like that. Jesus Christ. It was probably a 2 week.
You would not be allowed in a prison with those toenails. Tiggs Revenge, $20 or $19.99 super sticker. Thanks, Tiggs. Mel M, thank you, Kate and TC. I agree.
Shout out to TC. He's fucking
Yeah.
incredible. Shout out to TC. Like you really, and shout out to my little elf. He knows what I'm talking about. I don't know if I should put his name out there too. Like you guys, I just want to like, really, really drive home that like all this bullshit that we bring to entertain you with is like a complete team effort. It's not just me. It's never been just me. The players might change depending on what we're doing, but I have connected with some of the most talented, interesting people on the internet. I'm so thankful for that. So like, yeah, shout out to TC, shout out to Matt, Shizzle, like all the people that are, except for Harry, he's a piece of shit.
Yeah, fuck off.
But and let's just be clear, by talented she means sick, degenerate, twisted screwballs. We are all messed up.
That too.
Trade wins again, 1964, $5. Alpha appeals carry more weight. I still think he's a beta. Gold Goddess of Truth, $10. If Chille continues to file another case of lawsuit, Kate should bring videos showing Chille himself saying he sues people just to cost them money. That should get him labeled. Again,
No, so I hear that a lot, and like guys, like listen, I hear what you're saying. Like if somebody is expressing, because like that was the first thing he sent me in the cease and desist letter that he wrote, and I read that out to the judge just so that we're his mind frame there. But no, in order to be labeled a vexatious litigant, it takes a very long time through the court system. I mean, we're just talking like it can take years because they just have to file back to back to back to back. I mean, I have personally witnessed some cases back in my Turtle Boy days, not that I really give a fuck what happens to Aiden, but fair is fair, where I mean I've seen the same person, just hit him with so many different filings over and over and over again, dragging on for years now, and that person has still not been labeled a vexatious litigant. Like it's because the court's going to presume that there is some merit to your case or that is brought in good faith until they don't, and that takes a really long time.
And Chille's cases are written like a third grader, apparently. I mean, they're not going to go anywhere. So, anyway, Tice Mahoney, super unnecessary super chat. Yes.
Appreciate it.
Michael McDaniel became a YouTube member. Michael, thank you very much. I appreciate it. And this is the best one for last. Tequila Mockingbird, Kate wins. Fatality.
Get over here.
Oh, we have a couple more that popped in. Morgie, $20 Australian money. I want to see Chille try and use trifold through customs in Colombia and TSA in the U.S. Yeah, I don't think so either. Sarge, $9.99. How about this new hero, News Now Omaha? He's not a new hero. News Now, he's actually calmed down a little bit. I've not seen much of him lately.
I just worry. I don't even want to talk about him at nauseum right now because it's fucking almost 1:00 in the morning here. But
yeah.
I just, more than anything, like I just worry about News Now Omaha and what's going to happen to him because it's just some of the positions that he's in, or puts himself in. Like I get it, it makes for views or whatever, but it's scary to watch. I'm not so deluded that I think that the police never shoot and kill someone. And unfortunately, the way that he sets it up, if that were to happen, there probably wouldn't be a lot of recourse because it probably would be ruled justified just based on his behavior. So I wish that he wouldn't do that because like no one's life is worth this bullshit on YouTube. In my opinion.
Absolutely.
I worry about
him. Right. No matter how
he's a nice kid. He really is.
He is. This very misguided. I agree.
That was hard to watch.
I know we were talking behind the scenes last night about where we're speculating where he was going to go. And one of the concerns was he was going to team up with Chille, which would be very bad.
Thanks for joining, Freeman. Are you actually making more money off these shows about Chille than what you previously made? Yeah, totally true. Not as much. Like I said, we've been like playing this game where we're like, oh, Cash App, thousands of dollars. That's not happening. But generally on YouTube, I like financial transparency. Generally on YouTube, the average that the channel makes is about $300 a month on Google. That's with AdSense, the super chats, all that stuff is usually somewhere between $300 and maybe $500 a month. This previous month, full disclosure, since the troll is over about the money anyway, it's around, I believe, $1,500. So that is way more than we're used to. What I'm going to do with it yet, I don't know.
Pedicure.
Yeah, I mean, this is not something that I rely on. It's not going to pay my bills. I don't like, this is not a career to me. I appreciate it.
And were you joking when you said you were going to help those ladies out that he's kind of screwed over?
Half joking. I did say it just to piss him off, but honestly, I would have I was serious when I was like, listen, I would at least hook them up with an attorney because I can't speak to the merits of their case. But I feel like, everybody is entitled to, at least a consult with somebody who's qualified. And, I wasn't going to be an asshole and just be like, here, let's find you a free consult. Like I'd pay, $500 out of this fucking AdSense to get them a consult with a decent attorney who will let them know sort of the actual viability of their lawsuits rather than have, him write it in crayon and tell them they're going to, bring the town down and have a huge windfall,
Yeah, Chille was even attacking a valid defense attorney that I think it was Christie had.
Yep.
He's like, how dare you take this deal for her, which was absolutely not the case. He got an offer from the prosecution and just relayed that offer to his client, which is what all defense attorneys are supposed to do. The client is the one who makes the decision.
I am not a lawyer. I don't pretend to be a lawyer. I don't pretend to know a lot about the law. But everything that Chille seems to present himself as, he is dumb as a box of rocks when it comes to law, courtroom decorum, courtroom etiquette, how to file a case, how to present a case, and how to lose with dignity.
He's a petulant child.
And to address John Hanzo, well, your buddy Chille has 42,000 subscribers and can barely get 300 people in his stream.
Yeah, I am it brings in pennies. Like that's okay with me though. Like,
right.
So next time that you accuse me of being super financially motivated, like I'm going to refer back. Hold on, I'm going to leave this comment up for a while so that we can refer back to this with John Hanzo. It's not really we bring in pennies. It's not a financial thing for me. It's a fucking hobby. I mean, I appreciate it. And I've been approached by other creators who have always said like, oh, we can, help, teach you how to really better monetize your channel. It's not like I'm like, no, I'm so adverse to making money. I don't e-bag. I don't like to fucking e-bag. That's not something that I enjoy doing. The handful of times that it has been done, it feels fucking shitty. I wouldn't say even e-bag, but we've had a couple things where we've had goals in mind. I try to take them down as fast, like the records requesting that we just did. As soon as that hit a couple $100, I was like, done. Like that's more than enough, right? Like, no, it's not. This is not my motivation here. But like, we live in a capitalist society. Like, I like fucking money. Are you kidding me? I don't know if I have the patience or time really to properly monetize a channel because I don't really set ads on. I'm never going to grovel and beg my subscribers for money. I don't want to have anyone feel like they have to pay for things. I do the membership thing and I'll do some members only content, but I like all my subscribers, even the ones that can't afford that or don't want to, or, don't want to pay $2 to tell me I'm a piece of shit. I want you to be able to come and tell me I'm a piece of shit for free. I don't know.
I mean, if you look at a lot of people don't see it behind the scenes, but if you look at our videos, I think 99% of them are set to non-monetized. I mean,
yeah, I don't like the ads thing, and it's restricted too, because I hear too many people talking about how they have to adjust their content, to appease the YouTube ad gods. Like, I'm also with that.
And it seems too, like Chille thinks that everybody who makes videos about him does it for a living. He even argued that in court today that, oh, this is how she makes a living. Like, dude, get over
I have a job. I've had a job. Had the same job for several years.
I can't wait to hear that. Oh yeah.
I gotta get off here and fucking.
Yeah, we're going on 3.5 hours. So
yeah, I'm tired and I gotta put that fucking audio up.
I will say, I don't know if you guys are aware of it, but I mean, San Joaquin, was one of the first ones to kind of suss him out, and then Direct D was like, this guy's a clown, and a lot of us were like, really, so we started taking, I think James would probably say the same thing, that at first he had a decent message, and then all of a sudden, you started to see all the antics, overcome the real work that was being done, and we all kind of just jumped on that same bandwagon. But in the beginning, I got to give credit to San Joaquin and Direct D, for leading the way and saying, you guys are fools if you listen to this clown. And sure enough, I think the downward spiral just went quicker. Some people in the chat were saying he's going to delete his channel, or he did already. I will check that after we're off of here. But that would
who deleted their channel?
Is his channel still up? James, will check. Oh,
whose channel?
Delete Laws. They said Delete Laws is. They might have been joking, but
hold on, I'll check right now.
I mean, it wouldn't surprise me. They say
it's still there. He's lost some subs today. He's down to 41.9.
Yeah, and that was my last comment was, people are asking why he left Ironton. I think it was threefold. One, there was no money left to squeeze. Two, he was looking worse and worse, and he had to start following through on some of the things that he said he was going to do, and he never did. So he had to kind of bail out. And three, he saw these other towns, people calling him saying, "Oh, I really wish you were up here. We really need your help up here." And then he was like, "Okay, I'll go get some money up there then." So,
plus he made a series of increasingly worse impulsive decisions. Like he said, I'm going to host these classes in this municipal building even after it closes, and then he decided essentially on the spot to make it a protest, and then he got arrested for trespassing because that's not how protests work. And then he made the impulsive decision to just not show up to court because he thought the court was not legitimate, and now he has a warrant.
And it's a consistent pattern of behavior. He runs from the consequences of his actions and choices. He has.
Well, no, he obviously thinks the court is legitimate because he just tried to use it to literally chill my right to free speech.
Yep.
Well,
So,
he's got the non-falsifiable belief that either the court will rule in his favor or it's a kangaroo court.
Right.
Yeah. Well, and I agree. He succumbed to his own weight of his decisions where people were following him. He was getting all nervous. He was getting more panicky. He couldn't find any private spaces. He was getting kicked out of all the restaurants when he tried to meet with people. It was just, it was too much.
Disorderly Product News was in our chat earlier. I wish he was still here. I know it's makes we're going on 3.5 hours. Do you know what his stance is currently on Chille? I mean, because Chille claims that Disorderly Product News brought him into this environment.
Well, they started a channel, right? Yeah, I think that's the one. I'm trying to keep track here. I think they are the ones that started a channel at first, and then that kind of fizzled out, and then he started jumping on with Ninja, and then now that one's dead too, it seems. So I mean, it just seems like he's burning bridges left and right.
I mean, I've always liked kind of Disorderly Product News, getting kind of quirky, whatever. That's fine. Don't necessarily agree with what he does, but I kind of liked his style and everything. And I was kind of surprised that he would hitch his wagon to someone like Chille.
It didn't seem like it lasted too long. I think everyone, was enamored at first. He's got that charisma that kind of can suck you in at first, but then, after a very brief time, he outs himself.
See, that's the one thing I never got. I think Kate said the same thing. I've never got that charisma attraction to him. Josh Abrams, yeah, and I've said from day one that I started working with Kate, Josh is very charismatic and he's funny with the stuff he does. I've never got that impression from Chille. He just, to me, he's always been. Someone said it earlier, and I think Josh's stream. He's a snake oil salesman. And that's the way he's always come across to me.
I don't find him to be particularly
Which
charming.
one? Chille or
Chille?
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Josh is very charismatic, and I've said that. Josh is very charismatic. Like I said, I don't like Josh. I don't like some of the stuff he's done, and I've made that very vocal. But I've always said Josh is very charismatic. I think Josh is smart. I think Josh could put his talents better directed someplace else. This is his path. That's fine.
I told Josh every time I talk to him, I check my driveway to make sure I didn't buy a car from him. He's an excellent car salesman.
Right. But I never got that impression from Chille. I always get the impression that Chille is a snake oil salesman. He comes into a town. And I gave this analogy last week when we went live. I'm dating myself, but those old churches used to come in town under the tents, and they'd come in and they'd do their preaching sermons for one night, get all the money, and then they'd be out of town the next day.
Yeah. That sounds about right.
Trying to answer comments that come up. Aaron Queen has asked a question. I'm sure that it's just because he fucking hates me, but I'll try to answer it. Again, I've tried to answer this a couple times over the stream. Still kind of working it out. It's always kind of like, it's very fluid what we do here, but I know definitively we stand for free thought and discourse above all else, right? We despise fucking echo chambers. So This is a place that I've tried to create where you can come and, I spout off my opinions, and I try to allow people to do the same and their opinions on, me, whatever else. I think that we stand for breaking down some of the, inherent biases or sort of showmanship and glossing over or deception that the internet can create the best we can as far as, finding individuals that, again, I feel like are creating a certain degree of power for themselves through this weird social media hierarchy that has developed. It exists now, right? And getting a more robust picture about who they are, what they're really doing, what their motivations may be, and putting that information out there understanding that then you're just getting two sides. You're getting their story about what they're doing, what you'll get from them, why you should support them, usually financially. And then you get our side of it too, and you can make your own determination. No one is ever going to come over here and tell you you should do this. I might insult you and call you an idiot. That probably will happen, but you can insult me back. You're allowed to do that. And a lot of it sometimes is just we enjoy trolling, eliciting reactions from people that we find to be funny, and a time killer. So I don't know. It's not that deep.
I thought you were just going to say Massachusetts asshole. I thought that's what he was asking.
Oh.
Well, it's kind of
but that was a much better answer.
I mean,
No. If you want to know what masshole stands for, it's just what people call people from Massachusetts. I'm sorry, I probably read way too deep into that.
I think you did.
And I can tell you, Aaron Queen is the newly appointed, moderator and current pet of Chille.
Yeah, no, I know he fucking hates me, which is fine. I can't go over and tell Chille what I think about him, but you can come over here and tell me what you think about me. That's fine.
Aaron got his shiny blue wrench today, so.
It's also worth pointing out that the more Chille entirely cuts off people who even disagree with him on innocuous issues, the more and more he's just constructing his own echo chamber, and that's going to get worse and worse.
Well, exactly. I mean, look, going to the night, like I said, we spent 3.5 hours having a civil conversation. Now, granted, we were shitting on Chille quite a bit, but talking to Ryan, talking to Josh, talking to James, again, total different sides of the track, totally don't get along with each other, totally don't agree fundamentally on 99% of what they stand for and what they do, and vice versa for us. But we're able to have civil adult conversations. Again, granted, it was shitting on Chille. Sometimes, yes. And granted, it was shitting on Chille for most of the night, but I mean, there was some other serious dialogue that went really well.
And amongst each other. I mean, all of us have our own individual views and perspectives, and we disagree amongst each other at times too.
Oh,
but
absolutely.
you know what? It's
I just
all
like to
good.
fucking fight too, just so we're clear. I do genuinely enjoy internet feuds. I just full disclosure here, guys. I literally enjoy them. I don't know why. Probably because I'm a terrible person, but I like the back and forth. I like the fucking feuds. I like the fucking trolling aspect. I'm not ever going to hide that. Take everything with a fucking grain of salt.
Well, and also one thing, with every person that we've ever done any videos on, shit on, whatever you want to call it, we've always invited that person up to give their side of their story or their opinion. That's very rarely done in situations with us. I know Kate's been very recently gone up, with James and Ryan and Josh and stuff. But like I said, we've always given the opportunity for the other side to speak theirs. Going back to Virgo Triad even. She was given an opportunity. Come up, tell us your side of it before we what do you want to say that we're lying about or whatever. And
I dragged Kate over into an A1 or into a anarchy talk the other day too.
Which is, again, because I endeavor to surround myself with people who do not think exactly like I do, because I don't want to become stagnant in my own personal growth. That's all.
No, I thought it was great. You jumped right on. You didn't he and haw,
And on that, sorry.
You're fine. Go ahead. I'll wait.
No, I was just going to say on that note too, it wasn't brought up in court today, but it is important to point out Chille has been given multiple opportunities to come on Masshole and has declined every time or demanded $3,900 in the chat. But he has had the opportunity.
When I made 30, had 39. I've never made $3,900 on a stream.
But he has been offered the opportunity to come on and offer a rebuttal, and he has declined. So he has been given the fair chance.
Oh my god! The only thing dumber than Chille believing that $3,900 honestly was when Dr. fucking Dave was on there with Vegas Valley. She made $100,000 once. What the fuck are you talking about? I don't even make $100,000 in a year. Period. I my salary is around 75. Thank you very much. I don't think I've ever ridiculous. Shut up, John Hansley. The reason that you get jumped on here is not because you have a negative opinion of me. It's because with all due respect, you're a retard. That's why. You come in here, you just say the dumbest fucking shit. You constantly try to twist things. He was saying earlier in the chat, you guys were shitting on Dr. Dave for defending a frauditor. No, if you go back in the stream, I actually questioned Team Skeptic, pretty harshly for a minute about like, why are you saying that he can't go talk to this Vegas Valley guy? What is this fucking tribalism, taking sides thing? I never shit on him for that. I shit on him for being an idiot that gets fucking drunk, and when he gets his feelings hurt on the internet, pulls out a gun. Like, you arm yourself because somebody's saying mean words on the internet. That's what the fuck I shit on him for. And the fact that I can't find him to be a douche. Unfortunately, John Hanzo, or maybe fortunately, maybe it's what you're looking for, honestly. Like, the more that you hang around the comments, the more that people are forming the same opinion of you, that you're kind of a douche, which is fine. Like, you're free to be a douche here. You're really.
Oh, you didn't tell me that.
No, I mean, I'm kind of becoming a professional one. Ha! See what I did there?
So it is also worth pointing out that Vegas Valley, to my knowledge, and assuming this is the same person, has a pretty serious criminal charge from 2017 about like threats and domestic terrorists.
I mean, just generally, like all that. Like, I haven't even looked into his fucking his background or anything, because I like at this point I'm like, man, I'm like, I don't know, but he just like he seems to be kind of a fucking piece of shit. I'm not like today, currently, like, threatening people's children, just like, and I'm going to dox everybody. Like, for what purpose? Like, congratulations, you figured out.
He was proud of it too. He was
very
proud of it.
Good for you.
Last week was the first time I seen this guy, and I thought he was just kind of playing around, trolling, joking around and shit.
No,
Unfortunately not.
He has been literally in the comments. Like, I don't even know who you are, dude. I'm not like, the only thing that I said about you was I don't understand why people are telling Dr. Dave who the fuck he can talk to, which was cleared up for me pretty quickly, that like, you're kind of a piece of shit, and that maybe people would be uncomfortable with him, like, cozying up to that with your current behavior. I don't care about 2017 right now. Just what you're currently doing. But like, all of a sudden, like, he's in my comments issuing these weird fucking ultimatums, and you'll see what I can do. Like, dude, you're a fucking keyboard gangster. You can't do anything. I mean, if you want to go full psycho, go full psycho. I'm going to fucking laugh at you. And then, if you cross a line enough, then fucking deal with what you get with the fucking legal system. I will repeat again for the 10th time tonight. I'm not running around calling the cops on everybody. I'm not going to take everybody to court. That point of being an alarmist is over in my life, but you cross certain lines, bro. I got a family and I got a fucking career, and you're not gonna fuck with either one. Like, I got too many people that try to disparage me and say, oh, this chick's just she's got nothing to lose. Bitch, I got plenty to lose. But I'll tell you one thing, like, you're not coming to take it from me. Plenty of people have tried and it falls fucking flat.
And by the way, doxing, low-hanging fruit. Come on, even Chille's done better than that.
Well, and it's not just Valley; it's his son too. So him and his son run around kind of like a couple of jackals, and that's the problem. You get one, that's bad, but you get two that feed off each other. It's 10 times worse.
Yeah, except we'll give him some attention. He wants it. That's no problem.
Well, and that's what I was going to ask you guys. Are you guys closing the? I'm sure you don't ever close the book, but are you guys starting to end the chapter on Chille?
No,
I don't know yet.
No, not yet.
Yeah,
I can. For me, no. He's my new Cyrex.
Still more fun to have.
I mean, maybe Kate will actually get served with a lawsuit.
I didn't want to go that route because, like, honestly, like, my God, attorneys are freaking expensive. The last time I raised money, it was to file a lawsuit that like, I was still attempting to do, but that's like a different story. But like, I raised a couple $1,000s, and it still like wasn't enough. So I don't really like, I'll cross that bridge when I get there, because I'm sure at this point I've met plenty of decent attorneys, and I'm sure I could probably work something out, especially if it's stupid Chille. But I don't really see it happening, because I don't think that, like, I mean, he doesn't understand. Federal lawsuit. He doesn't even understand that at this point he doesn't have any federal lawsuits.
And what he also fails to comprehend is in the videos where he's mentioning, I'll get the money that they earned, or I'll something to that effect. The amount of money that the YouTubers who make videos about him earn has nothing to do with it. He has to show that they caused him damage in a certain amount. And for most federal civil cases, the burden, I think, is like $75,000. Or the amount of injury described has to be $75,000 or more. So he's going to have a difficult time showing that he suffered $75,000 worth of injury.
And truth is an absolute defense, right? This is why I'm not concerned about all. Like I'm not perfect, right? So I understand that there's always a margin of error, and that these things can be very complicated. And I'm essentially trying to do deep dive profiles on strangers that I've never met, just based on the best sort of, I guess, I don't want to call it reporting because I'm not a journalist, but the best part of, I guess, investigative work that I can do. But I am careful. I'm very careful, not just because of the legal liability. That is a factor for me, but it's not the driving. It's that I don't want to put something negative that is untrue on someone else's fucking name, because I wouldn't want it done. It has been done to me, and it sucks. I just don't want to do that. I don't want to ever have a negative impact on somebody else's image or reputation or psyche that is not, honest and true, and I don't know if you want to say justified because that's subjective, but at least honest and true. So, when Chille is complaining that I reported that he has a criminal record, he does. And as soon as we can end this conversation, which I'm really going to have to do, I'm going to post that court audio when I can get it uploaded, and you'll hear the judge actually read it off. It exists. It's real. Like, it's confirmed. He can't excuse that away. He says that, I called him a rapist. I've never said that. And you can go back on many streams where I clarify he is not a rapist. I've never heard anything about him sexually assaulting people. I've heard him do some things that were very exploitative that I will not say in public for respect for the victims, but I've never called him a sexual assaulter because that would be inaccurate. He says that I called him a drug dealer. Well, dude, you were arrested for, the manufacture and sale of illegal drugs, and you took a diversion, right? Okay. Well, there you go right there. It's not out of left field. Like, nothing that I'm saying about him is a lie, right? It's all substantial. I call him a grifter and a scammer. Yeah, I mean, he's taking money from people and not fucking following through with a fucking thing that he says it's for. Like, hello.
Chille is also really guilty of paraphrasing other people's statements and construing them to be more or less of what the actual person said. And he does this with case law too, where he'll read a case and he'll look at the end result, and then he'll say, because of this case, that means some extrapolated, exaggerated, all-encompassing principle that he then recites over and over again. And there's a reason that when it comes to lawsuits, lawyers are very careful to quote the exact specific language that a person used, because you get called out on it in argument by the judge if you paraphrase and you embellish what somebody said, or you include words that they didn't actually say, and that damages the credibility of your argument.
All right, guys. Well, I really do have to kill this. I'm so
and
sorry.
I was just gonna say,
Late.
he's washed up. He's washed up in our kind of stratosphere. So I didn't know if you guys were gonna keep poking that bear, but he's pretty much done for in our neck of the woods, I would imagine.
It goes. It goes. It depends. It depends. It really is like, to me, it's a series, and sometimes we'll put it down, pick something else up, and then you check in later on if something else happens. And I can't ever really. Oh,
I'm sorry. Let me rephrase that. James will still keep sucking on him, because he loves him, but the rest of us are done with him.
That bromance is real.
I mean, I think James and I probably have similar inclinations when it comes to some of this stuff, but eventually even Cyrax got boring for the time being. But I check it every once in a while and see. And if you guys have anyone that you feel like, hey, this might be a person of interest, again, info@massholereport.com is our email. Just send it in. Sometimes I get around to it. Jesus Christ, Mars, I like you a lot. Okay, but stop fucking doxing. I don't want to have to block you. I'm trying to just find you out.
I blocked him, actually, Kate. I'm sorry.
Oh my God. I hate when people block Mars. Mars, I like you a lot. I find you highly entertaining. I have a huge
I warned him like 10 times.
This is a way to end the stream. Thanks, Mars. Way to kill the vibe. Let me get the Discord link real quick before we fucking go, guys, because I'm so tired. And
are you putting the audio on YouTube or on Discord?
YouTube.
Okay.
I guess I could fucking play it in Discord too, but I probably won't. I'll probably just put it on YouTube at this point, because why not, right?
Well, if I have a vote, I say go after that Freeman guy next. I mean, I've heard bad things.
Freeman would be hard to troll because he just does. He's like me. He's like Abram. Like, some people just don't give a shit. You know what I mean? I've been trolled a couple times. Somebody came into my chat. I can't remember who they were pretending to be, but it's somebody that I really fucking don't care for. I think it was maybe Mersh, but I was like freaking out about it. Like, fuck this guy, come out. And then it wasn't even him. Oh, I've been trolled a couple
Freeman's
times.
actually a cop. No one knows it, but Freeman actually is a cop. So
Join our Discord. It's really fun.
The
And
deepest undercover one there has ever been.
Absolutely.
there's the Discord link, everyone. If you join our Discord, we regularly create it to stalk people. Yeah.
Like Great Whites. We need the Jaws theme from now on when we come on. Start playing Jaws.
I'm gonna probably make some Chille t-shirts. I don't usually sell them because of likeness laws, and honestly, it's not even that I really give a fuck about that much, because I don't really make money on t-shirts anyway. Nobody buys our dumb shit. But honestly, what little profit I have seen with some of it, Teespring or whatever hosts it takes it, but at least they send out the shirts. So sometimes I'll make shirts and just zero out the profit. So technically, nobody's making any money off the fucking likeness, but we can have some fun shirts because I would like Chille in draws.
You do the superhuman likeness.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
And by the way,
I gotta go.
By the way, Chille trolls are welcome in Discord. We love all the screenshots you send him. It's great. Thank you.
If you
everybody's welcome. All right. Yeah, I gotta go though. All right.
If you don't send me that video, then I'm gonna dox everything about you. I'm gonna feed you guys everything about James.
All right. Good. All right.
Thanks for having us on, Kate.
All right.
All right, guys. Good night.
Thank you.
You're the best, Kate.